left. It's going to come down.
Faber making a third as he looks up. Making he finds the drop. Three. Stunning here from
Hello everyone, sorry for the wait. We were just waiting on some games to finish, but we are jumping into the first one we have available to us, and it's once again West Garfield Park, only this time they will be up against ECLECTIQ, who actually qualified for Stage 1 in the very first qualifier.
Yeah, we've got one of our SCS teams that we played in Stage 1, and they're going to be going up against West Garfield, who we just saw one series ago take down Wichita Wolves Academy. West Garfield have been looking good. They worked their way all the way to the grand finals of our standalone tournament just a few days ago, walking home with, you know, a couple $1,000. Not nothing too crazy, but definitely something worth writing home about. And they are a team composed of some incredible players. As you know, it is Rudy, Psychosis, Forrest, Barring, and Bio. These are names that have played a ton of PL, a ton of CL, a ton of experience on this team. And on the ECLECTIQ side of things, you've got a roster with considerably less experience. It is Z, Goons, Semi, Duke, and MX Reaper. All of these guys, again, this is a team that played in SCS Stage 1, but this is a team that still has a lot of work to do because they are going up against a team with more experience than almost every other team in the qualifier right now, and all they've got to do is win this one to make it.
Yeah, as far as I know as well, Stage 1 of SCS was ECLECTIQ's first ever league, so it's even more impressive that they came in during the first qualifier. Of course, if you don't remember the roster from last stage, the only difference is instead of Haiku, they have MX Reaper, who previously competed with In Control, not the current In Control with JJ, previous In Control with TAC, MX Reaper, Dunny, Serve, and them. As we see our maps, Cafe, Oregon, Clubhouse, more qualifier specials. Woo! Because these teams hate having fun, but at least we don't start with Oregon. At least we get Cafe up first. ECLECTIQ's map pool probably significantly lower than most other teams. Again, like you highlighted, because of that experience factor, they're still a relatively new team, but they did look good on the maps they did play in Stage 1. They even took one shot fairly close, and we know how good of a team they are. They're in the 6th Invitational Closed Qualifier and came second in our previous stage. But the bans are going to start rolling in, of course, West Garfield Park with the first, as they are on the defense, and they'll actually take Sledge off the board.
Interesting. So Cafe is a map that does have a lot of vertical destruction, especially on that kitchen site. Sledge is a very important factor, but he will not be involved here. We may have to see the Buck favored instead, and this use of the skeleton key a little bit more prominent. The Thatcher will be taken off the board second. Now this one, unlike the first, is a very common ban. The Sledge, unusual. Those frag grenades, important, and they will not be here, but those EMP grenades from Thatcher will not be a factor either. Now, on the defensive side, we are going to continue with our theme of unique bans and see the Castle taken off the board. This is another unique one.
Yeah, and that's probably a direct response to the Sledge ban that makes Castle, that forces you to use your ranged soft breach on those Castle barricades. So they just say, you know what, no more Castle at all. No more window coverage with the Castle. No more Cigar holds either, Jonah. That means Cigar is pretty much off the table for the defense without those Castle barricades. Perhaps roaming upstairs might be a little bit more difficult as well, but either way, Castle is a mainstay on this map, as is the Sledge, and we're not going to be seeing either of them. Now, of course, banning the Sledge and the Castle also has some more ramifications in this game. That leaves up operators like the Maverick, like every single other hard breacher on Cafe, and leaves up the Mira, who is oh so powerful on Cafe. Mira is pretty damn good on every map, but Cafe is definitely one of her specialties, and West Garfield are going to be running her immediately for their very first defense here on Cafe on the top floor. Normally, a lot of times you'll see your mirror window placed on the cocktail wall, facing into bar. Sometimes you'll see one on that freezer wall, on the back freezer wall, facing into piano with the wall open. Sometimes you even see one inside a bathroom, where Biologic is placing one right now. So there's some variations of the mirror setups that you can use, but it seems like we'll have a pretty default one here from Bio, with a lot of the defense being staked here in bathroom.
Right, that mirror window in bathroom is tough to use well, and the reason is because there is a window on that white hall that all someone has to do is rappel up this side of the map, pop that window, and you can have a hell of a lot of bullets and a couple of nades falling right at the feet of the person who's usually playing on that mirror window. And that is, in addition, that is why we're going to see, likely from the defense, a good bit of protection on that window. Often, we will see somebody run all the way downstairs towards the garage, that freezer hallway, and maybe just apply a little bit of pressure towards that doorway that faces that window in order to make sure the attacking team cannot get comfortable taking that position very early. Still not something easy to do for the defense, always risky to go all the way to that bottom floor and contest that position. Rudy will go down one floor. He'll chill in dining for now, but he will not drop all the way to the first floor just yet to do that strat I talked about. Instead, he's going to focus on denying any second floor entries, and ECLECTIQ, they haven't rotated over towards that rappel either. Right now, they're going to begin a standard approach, working their way in from these stage windows, from the ticket bar window, clearing out this utility as they go.
And we have another update as well on the bracket. So not only do we have this game competing for the spot in SCS, we also have the Aerial Arise Pug Stack along with Noob Slayers, who, if you don't know, is the team with Stove and Pengu on it. And already, we're going to have a better flank watch than we saw from Wichita Wolves against West Garfield, as Psychosis will hit an air jab, get knocked on his ass, and Z picks up the first frag of the series. Well done on quite the powerful player. Your Malusi off the board, but in terms of utility, that's not too worrying for West Garfield. They still have plenty of C4s. They've got 2 in their pocket, and of course, Malusi's Banshees are already set down on the field, and his force pushes up through the rotate. He'll take the head off of Goons, the Maverick now dead. If he hadn't used his nades, they will die with him, and now you've lost a little bit of coverage in Cigar. Barring as well, getting aggressive, lands the headshot onto MX Reaper, and look at this. You just got 2 attackers on the roof, despite people taking in a Cigar. That slowness is going to keep punishing the attack, as Z is the next to go down, leaving Semi and Duke in a 2v4.
I was going to say that West Garfield are going to have to tidy things up because they're coming up against a much more disciplined opponent than Wichita Wolves Academy, but it seems that I stand corrected for now. Despite a good flank watch and a good early kill, ECLECTIQ will lose 2 players to nothing but simple aggression and gun skill from the Bandit, barring taking 2 fights, winning 2 fights, and on very low HP because of that. Doesn't really matter for him, though, because his team now has a 2-man advantage. It's Semi and Duke. The last 2 players left alive for ECLECTIQ, and not necessarily the 2 players you want. It only is the Habana with, yes, a little bit of hard destruction, but nothing else in the way of soft destruction. Duke's just going to have to find some frags, but that is not going to happen in this round. West Garfield will line up those 2 players in just a matter of a second, taking those 2 kills and taking the opening round on Cafe.
Yeah, big problem in that attack was, I guess I'll say, the unwillingness for the rest of ECLECTIQ to actually enter the building. You saw 2 players taking in through Cigar, a kill to their favor, and they still had 1 on rappel and 2 people on the roof. 2 on the roof with Cigar control. That is not how you need to push your attack, because then those 2 players die from Forest pushing up to B1 and Barring just simply swinging on the doorway. There was no one covering on Skylight, again, despite there being 2 people on the roof, and 1 even died on the hatch as Barring continued to press the issue. So ECLECTIQ, we know them to be a pretty damn fast team. Hopefully we don't see them that sluggish in the future rounds. We're going to be on the Fireplace and Mining. Mining and Dining. Definitely the least played site on this map. A lot of people consider it to be unequivocally the off-site, and well, I have to agree with them. West Garfield are going to be bringing both the T5s in the Legion and the Oryx, 2 not often played operators, but Forrest can help slow down that top floor clear, and Psychosis, of course, will now be afforded that extra rotatability and maneuverability of the Oryx.
I got to admit, it is a little bit surprising to see this site come out. Not just because it is an off-site, but because, again, thinking back to our bans, the fact that the sledge is not a factor, and the fact that it appears ECLECTIQ is reluctant to run the to run the buck, a perfect replacement to the sledge, it seems that Kitchen would be a much stronger bomb site than normal because of the limit on soft destruction from above. I would argue that maybe going to Kitchen would be the best site on this map now instead of Bar and Cocktail.
ECLECTIQ don't even have breach charges.
Right, and especially instead of mining, right? There's no breaching charges. The only soft destruction they have is frag grenades. They have 6 of those, and that's something, but you can't really use frag grenades to open up vertical holes from above, at least reliably. It doesn't really matter, though, for them. ECLECTIQ are off to another good start. Barring is already shut down. I hope he was able to put down those ADSs before he perished. I suspect he was able to, given that we are already 40 seconds into the round, but a good pick to start things off for ECLECTIQ yet again.
Now, they were not able to turn that opening pick into a round win in the previous round, but we'll see if they can do better here. They'll spot out Psychosis, and the Oryx will dash away, so no one for Duke to wait for there. They've already gotten that opening pick, like you said, onto Barring, which perhaps will make this top floor clear a little bit easier, but they got to face down this mirror window, but Rudy's just peeking in front of it. Semi goes down. That's your Thermite dead. At least there's a trade on to Forest, and you still got your Maverick, but still, that's exothermic charges out of the pocket for EQ. The Oryx once again peeking Pixel but dashing away, as now it looks like MX Reaper wants to get aggressive, peek over towards Long Bar, but he'll wait for his teammates, wait for any call from info, because again, this mirror window that Psychosis is playing behind is quite powerful. It looks like ECLECTIQ don't want to deal with it though. The beauty of a mining and dining attack is that you don't actually need to take Cocktail and Bar control, you simply need to hold the defenders from retaking the rest of the top floor from there. Once again, there is a mirror window. It's on the site this time. They're staring down Biologic, and they don't really have a lot to deal with it, but MX Reaper will get another kill onto Psychosis. Rudy will move in to try and support this Mira, but he's fighting against the window and is caught off guard by Z. Now it's just Bio. He'll peek out from the mirror window, look to catch the head of Goons, but he whiffs the shot, and now the attackers know exactly where he is. They're barreling down on his position. The C4 will blow up Z, but Bio can't do much past that, cursing the low ammo count of the Vector, as MX Reaper gets 3 kills, and it's now 1-1.
Yeah, if you're wondering why we can't hear people shoot, because we got a bit of a mute bug, a classic bug in the game.
Woo!
But we do have a round 1 for ECLECTIQ, and that was a good one at that. West Garfield, they tried to recover that round by just adding more aggression into the mix. You saw it in the mid-round, how Rudy tried to retake into the mining hall where 2 players were staring at him, mind you. Someone on the window and someone on the red stairs. Not the wisest of decisions, and especially not a wise decision against an ECLECTIQ team, which has proven to us between the first round and the second that they are a lot more aware of their flanks, they're aware of their positioning, and aware of maybe some of their weak spots than West Garfield's previous opponents were. And that's an adjustment that West Garfield are going to have to make on the fly, because here so far in the close quals, their experience tells them, okay, in this qualifier, that team, they couldn't deal with flanks. Let's keep flanking, because that is a recipe for success. I suspect that they may try it again here and there, but as we get further into this map and into this series, we are going to see very little of those Hail Mary type aggressive type flanks, because as ECLECTIQ have proven, it does not work as well against them. Aggression, if used well, can work against them. We saw it from Barring in that first round, maybe when ECLECTIQ are still getting warm, still getting loose, but in round 2, all that aggression was promptly shut down.
Unfortunately, we still have our mute bug. Hopefully we can get rid of it. A lot of times what will solve the mute bug is spectating a drone as it gets shot, but ECLECTIQ have lost 2 drones, and they'll lose a body as well. Forest spawn peaks MX Reaper, and down goes your Finko. Where the hell did he get that kill from? I think he just punched a hole in the garage wall. MX Reaper clearly did not see it, and he'll lose his life because of it. Early 4v5, you talked about the aggression working against ECLECTIQ. It worked in round 1, didn't work in round 2, but it will net Forest a kill in round 3, and that's quite an important operator. Finka is a confidence booster. She's got heals, she's got nades and a Gon 6, and of course MX Reaper got a 3K with her in the last round.
Yeah, especially the opening pick as well, starting things off very strongly for ECLECTIQ, but this time, of course, that opening pick going the other way, and MX Reaper on the losing end. Goons will try to get things going, though, in response. A nade working its way from the heaven window straight towards Forest, who will, be protected by an ADS initially, and then he'll go for an aggressive swing onto the window player, only to get tagged by the nade and back off. A bit of pressure coming in from ECLECTIQ now.
Yay.
As we can hear again, finally. A bit of pressure coming from them over directly into mining once again, as this is, again, an unusual bomb site for West Garfield to go to, but this time it is working for them. Another kill found for the defense. That one taking down the Nomad of Duke. Barring credited with that kill, now credited with another as he finds a double kill on the round, taking down Goons on the White Stairs rappel.
Yeah, Goons just kind of hanging out right in the middle of it, exposing himself quite a bit. to the Jaeger. That leaves Semi and Z in a 2v5 on mining and dining with no semblance of top floor control at all. Now, there's no mirror window that they have to contest with on the site, but it's still a 90-degree angle that Bio can hold on these windows, and there's Semi going down. Z gets the refrag onto Rudy, but he'll need an ace if he wants to win out. He'll spot Bio, easy kill for the Iana, but he's getting lit up on his backside as Psychosis descends the red stairs, and now it's an advantage for West Garfield Park 2-1.
An extremely bold decision to go back to one of the least favorable bomb site on this map and do it twice, but they won it. So good adjustments from them, not losing their life in the opening pick, instead actually getting that opening pick onto the Finca, shutting down that piece of aggression, that piece of extremely valuable utility that ECLECTIQ were hoping to leverage into that execute, but were unable to do so, again, because of that early death. But if I'm West Garfield right now, I am keeping an eye on the lineup of this ECLECTIQ attack, assessing how little soft destruction there is, and trying to structure my defense around that. Despite that, though, we're going back upstairs to Bar and Cocktail. I get that they won this bomb site before, but if there's a bomb site that depends very little on the ability of the attacking team to break open floors and break open walls, it's this one. There isn't a ton of soft destruction, let alone hard destruction, that attacking teams often do on this bomb site, whereas the basement site or the first floor site of Kitchen has a ton of hard breach needed and a ton of soft destruction needed. It is still peculiar to see West Garfield go for this top floor and this mining strategy, but I mean, I guess it's working for them right now. They are still up 2-1. Maybe going for these surprising picks is not only catching us off guard, maybe it's catching ECLECTIQ off guard too.
It's strange too, ECLECTIQ normally being quite a fast team, getting caught off guard by such aggression and the off-site picks. But Forest is once again spawn peeking. Are ECLECTIQ going to spot it out? They are, judging by the silhouettes, not looking in the right way just yet. Forest, of course, peeking out small bake. They did see the break in the barricade, and Z will sneak past it. So, no engagement from Forest here, but he might catch the thermite. Was that just not communicated?
They just didn't.
Z just didn't say anything?
I think they knew it was open. They knew it was open, but because he wasn't swung on it, they're like, oh, it was just a fake or something like that.
Maybe. Either way, I mean, if you see an open barricade, Siege 101, you look at it. You gotta make sure. That's case. That's all the way down. ECLECTIQ are gonna have to spend like 40 seconds rappelling down the building and rappelling back up just to grab it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. I mean, you can do a lot of other things at the same time. You can apply some pressure from above, and you can make sure to be, make sure West Garfield can't run downstairs again and try to actually get eyes on that diffuser, get eyes on the player recovering that diffuser. And I think they will be lucky that nobody is actually actively contesting that. Duke was able to run down and grab it. And for your Nomad to be doing that is not a huge deal either. It does mean you're a little bit more vulnerable to flanks and a little bit more vulnerable to a rat play like we're seeing from Barring prone behind the stage half wall. And, potentially could be enabling this flank game to continue. And here comes Barring. He'll step up, he'll get one, he'll get two. Z will eventually shut him down, but not before losing most of his HP. And here's Psychosis as well. The aggression from West Garfield, unparalleled right now. It is all up to Duke, the person who took the time to recover the diffuser in a 1 versus 4.
And he won't even win against Psychosis. So, that round, your Thermite gets spawn peaked. Already not off to a great start. That is, for the most part, your only hard breacher. You do not open red wall. There is no clear on the piano windows or really into piano at all. ECLECTIQ think they can take Cigar for free, and what happens? They haven't droned Barring. Barring gets a free double kill. Sure, Z refrags, but then you have Psychosis pushing out from Bathroom and Pixel to land the trade on his teammate, which he does so twice fold. So, rough start for ECLECTIQ. Other than the one successful round they have on mining and dining, they have not looked great. They'll now have to attack onto reading. So here's another site that kind of works into that sledge ban. Significantly less vertical play from ECLECTIQ available to them. I guess maybe they can use like Flores drones if they really want to. I think the Nomad had breaching charges last round, so they can use some of those to establish vertical presence, but the point is it's not going to be as efficient, and it's not going to cover nearly the same amount as if you had a Sledge who's banned, or if you had a Buck to replace him. Not quite sure why ECLECTIQ aren't running the Buck, because he still has burn, so I mean, it's not like he's completely useless, but I guess they just value people like the Finka, who's got the boost and the frags, the Nomad, who's got that flank watch, etc. And of course, they know how many shields are going to be placed upstairs, which is why they're bringing that Flores.
Right, a core component of any reading room defense is a strong cocktail and top floor hold with several deployable shields. That is what those Rotero drones are for, an efficient clear of those shields, of those power positions, because those drones, they work their way around any projectile denial utility you could put down. So they work their way around those ADSs that Forest is likely going to put down on that top floor as the Jaeger, and they don't get burned by a Surya Gate if you drive underneath it, and well, my magnet doesn't touch it either. We are going to see an interesting pick from the defense, though, the presence of a cap can from Psychosis, keeping things spicy. We're going to see the Mozzie and the Alibi as well. 3 operators who are, you know, pretty weak in terms of their primary utility, in terms of their actual gadget they bring to the table, in terms of that, you know, entry denial devices, the one that Capcan brings, the Alibi holograms that Barring brings, and those Mozzie pests, they're, you know, mid-tier gadgets, but all of these players, I mean, especially Barring and Rudy, they've got some impressive weapons to use. Rudy bringing out the Roni, Barring likely bringing out the MX4 Storm, and given the aggression we've seen from them so far, I mean, 2 perfect weapons to assist them in that aggressive playstyle.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
I imagine the roam will be something fierce on this top floor. They have people extended all the way into Piano. Looks like Barring with the Alibi, I believe. Forest is also doing something that I love to do in like casual and unranked, and that is simply prone in garage and wait for someone to repel on the south side of the building, and you get a freebie. And that could perhaps be MX Reaper looking at Forest through the wall, but you'll instead repel safely up, and Forest has since backed off over to place ADSs. Meanwhile, top-down clear is starting to ensue from ECLECTIQ. From the Maverick, while Duke and his teammate seem like they want to go horizontal, establish very quick mining and train presence, and lord over kind of 90 Hall and shallow pillar. They'll see the Capcan traps, so they won't be caught off guard by the double Capcan and killed easily. Meanwhile, Duke is going to start droning over towards Cigar, and Barring is here on Pixel. He'll likely be the first point of contention for this attack.
Yeah, Z going to join his teammate now in that endeavor of clearing out Piano. They've spotted out the one player who's going to be a real nuisance there. I don't believe there's anyone else lurking behind stage as there was in previous rounds. But, I mean, the Alibi Barring is stepping up and looking for a fight. Duke is going to be the wiser, and he'll take him down. Good awareness there from Duke, seeing that Alibi swing, seeing Barring just kind of get up in his face and take that fight. Got to be careful, though, because someone else from West Garfield, as we've seen, could follow that up with another swing of their own. But the only thing that's going to follow is a Nitro cell from below. Going to be wasted as Psychosis finds no damage with that, but Bio steps up in a big way, and he's going to be joined by his teammate in an effort to line up a double kill, and they will do it. Forest, good support, takes down Goons. Psychosis will also find one off screen, but 2 kills found their way back. Semi and Z, very important kills at the right time, because the last 2 players left alive are now Bio and Forest, who ECLECTIQ should know were upstairs until a moment ago, and they should know that Bio is very lit up. He took a lot of damage in that fight, so he is a bullet or 2 away from his death. So Forest is going to have to be a very important factor in the remainder of this round.
It seemed like all of West Garfield were looking to retake that area of the top floor at the same time. And while sure, the Cigar players or the people pushing Cigar were successful, it was that flank watch on red from Semi and Z to really keep the round within ECLECTIQ's grasp. Now it's a 2-on-2. The most dangerous prospect here being the fact that Bio still retains control of the top floor. He's still got these floor holes, and it looks like that might be what prompts ECLECTIQ to move over towards the dining side of things. But now, the most dangerous thing is Forest holding this 90-degree angle, but Z will get a kill onto Bio. He finishes off the low HP mute. Forest, they know exactly where he is, but the bomb's not going down from Semi. Finally, it'll go through, and Z has the cover. A 3K from the Iana. ECLECTIQ somehow still manage the round and tie us up, or sorry, not tie us up once again, but keep us within 1 round.
Yeah, 2v4 to a quick 2v2, as those were brilliant trades found by Z and Semi in the end. And a great adjustment there to keep things in their reach. Now, Cafe is typically a map that, used to be more defensive sided, but now we see it more often than not go to that 3-3 split. But whether it's 2-4, 3-3, I think Eclectic have kind of done the job they need to. This is, I would argue, the bans, especially the sledge taken off the board, probably lends itself to making this more of a defensive sided map than usual. So if Eclectic can get this third round, I mean, on top of the two they've already secured, I think that is more than a job well done. I think they have definitely won the half, even though only slightly. It's not a great margin either way. Because then you send, obviously, West Garfield into the tougher side of things. They go out on the attack, and they're going to have to continue to put up numbers as well. And you never know. Eclectic could bring out some more aggression and do a good job in catching West Garfield off guard too. So we'll see. Still one more round to go, and Eclectic will have to approach a bomb site that they have, they've won it once and they've lost it once. West Garfield avoiding the kitchen site like the plague. Don't even want to touch that first floor. The only thing they want to do on that first floor is spawn peek, and I expect to see, honestly, some more of that from them as well. It's been a consistent aspect of this defense, has been spawn peeking, has been early aggression, and it's got them a lot of opening picks.
Yeah, West Garfield, I mean, we've seen Forrest spawn peek quite a bit, and I don't believe he's been punished for it just yet. He's got at least 2 kills off of it as well, and he's once again going to be at the bottom of Garage, peeking out that barricade, looking for anyone rappelling up the building as MX Reaper pre-fires over towards his position, but avoids the Legion once again. So, and Forrest gets aggressive, but it does not actually net him anything. Unless MX Reaper drops, but I doubt that. He's just watching the fireplace for now. West Garfield are playing mining for the 3rd time. This time they got this mirror window on site once again. Hopefully Eclectic know what they're walking into. West Garfield, as soon as they started to get a lot more aggressive, Eclectic were caught off guard, but that's a great start. They'll take the mirror window out of freezer, and now they've got a little bit more to work with on this top floor take.
Yeah, really good use of the Twitch drone there by Goons. Good adjustment, first of all, to have the Twitch in play, but then sneaking that drone around through Cocktail, popping a mirror window that has been an extreme hindrance in getting this attack done efficiently. So Barring is going to have to relocate and try to find a way to delay the time just the same. For now, he'll position himself in deep freezer, hoping that maybe he goes undroned and unnoticed. He's got support from Psychosis, who until a moment ago was challenging over on the pixel position in Piano, and he is still in that position despite being droned out pretty constantly here. So he'll have to be careful of his position. But the one thing he's got going for them is nobody from Eclectic is on any of those windows and actually repelling. Instead, they're in Cigar contesting this one horizontally. So he'll get naded out, but he'll swing. He's got some intel to work with. He's got a BP camera as well. So he's got a foothold on this top floor if he needs it. But he's got to be careful because Eclectic, they've done a good job at getting these opening picks. Good shot on that C4, though. Get that out of the mix. Was that from Bio? From below? Or is that...
That has to have been. He's the only one that's expended the C4. That could have been a double kill for Bio as well, but it was denied by Z. Goons as well. Gets a kill on a Psychosis. Nearly nabs Forrest through the floor as well, but Barring nearly gets a 2K of his own, killing Z and lighting up Goons. And Forrest, unexpected from behind the couch, will capitalize on the low HP player. Barring will get his second onto MX Reaper. And what was a pretty decent top floor take from Eclectic has now completely spiraled out of control because of offsite players on the second floor, namely Forrest and Barring. Now it's a 2 versus 4. Semi and Duke, the 2 support players left to pick up the pieces. Biologic has since now established an aggressive position in mining. Rudy is in dining as well, the other site, playing around the doorway, around the fireplace rotate, and you still got 2 people in reading, stopping any early or any late pillar control here from the attack. Duke is going to drone out. He sees one player through the impact hole. He'll capitalize on Barring, but the time is so low that kill might not matter. Semi dropping the hatch with no help dies to Bio, and Forrest still left unchecked and reading as the second player in that position gets the last kill. It's a 4-2 defensive half from West Garfield.
Yeah, great start on their way to a potential map 1 victory as long as they keep up that momentum on the attacking half. But still, 6 more rounds theoretically to be played, and overtime theoretically yet to be played because Eclectic, we've seen it from them that they can make some on-the-fly adjustments. It's one of the things that was most impressive about them during that first split, is that despite being a younger team, a more inexperienced team with not a lot of league play, they came out and they played pretty mature for what we expected from them, right? They did a good job of adjusting on the fly. We saw that from them after they took the timeout in this map as well. They took the timeout when they were down 2 rounds, they bounced back, and they took a round in response. That's exactly what we're going to have to see from them on this second half. Obviously, they no longer have that timeout that they probably want back, but they do have the ability to adjust between each round. They'll kick things off on defense, starting out on this top floor. We're not going to see a mining right off the bat. We're not going to see a kitchen either. Instead, starting off just like West Garfield did on their half. I don't expect, though, to see from ECLECTIQ the same play in terms of those unorthodox bomb sites. We do see mining occasionally. We might even see mining twice on a given cafe if a team wins it and wants to go back there. But I don't know if we have ever, Harrison, seen 3 minings on the same defensive half of cafe. I don't think we're going to see it from ECLECTIQ.
Yeah, I have not, at least not in a very long time. And hey, West Garfield were successful 2 out of 3 of those times, so more power to them. ECLECTIQ, like you said, I imagine a much more standard rotation of things. They'll start on Bar Cocktail. No Mira for them. There are a lot of teams that will shy away from playing the Mira, despite her being left up. Instead, they'll take all the shields. Echo, Frost, and Goyo. They've got 4 of them, with Jaeger and Womai rounding out the lineup to make sure those shields are protected. And here, the Sledge Band coming into play. West Garfield pick up the Buck to replace him, something that ECLECTIQ, well, not necessarily that ECLECTIQ may have sorely missed because they didn't really get a lot of chance to do soft breaching in general, but if they had, they would have probably liked the Buck. Psychosis, early up white, already establishing a presence in the hallway. He's waiting for this Frost. They have info on Goons, but Goons still wins the fight. Wow! Good night, Psychosis. That's an opening pick for ECLECTIQ that really looked like it was going to go the attacker's way.
Yeah, the classic battle of swing or be swung, and, well, Psychosis got swung on, and that's just how it is sometimes. He got absolutely slammed by Goons. A very impressive shot. It seemed that Psychosis knew exactly where Goons was coming from, but Goons also knew exactly where Psychosis was positioned. So they went 1 for 1 in terms of intel, but Psychosis on the losing end of that engagement. But now, despite losing that first one, it does seem that West Garfield have pretty firm control of this second floor. And because they've got the Buck and the Skeleton Key in play, this usually means that we're going to see a lot of destruction now geared up towards Cocktail. Often, there will be several defenders sitting towards this position, and Bio's job will be to flush them out and take them down. He'll be successful on the first. There goes Semi. That's your Echo to fall, but Goons will follow up with another kill onto Forest. The Frost going big so far, proving a key element of this top floor defense, denying any pressure from the white stairs or from below.
Goyle will nearly catch Barring as well, but now the defenders are fully aware of this Zofia pushing up white. But look at this, Goons has this shield to play with. There's no more presence on the white window, so there's nothing to take him off of this. Pixel has also not been taken by this attack, so Goons is perfectly safe to just sit here. Biologic now joining Barring on this bottom white push, cooking a flash grenade. They'll start to push up, but Goons will catch them off guard, landing both of them. It's a quad kill for the Frost, and as he jumps out, nearly the ace, but MX Reaper will deny it. Why would you do that? The Frost was already out the window. But nevertheless, I'm sure ECLECTIQ Goons does not care about that. He's happy with his 4K. Huge play on the white stairs are all centraled around that position in the hallway and the shield. And ECLECTIQ take their first defense.
Good start from them on the defensive side. A dominant start at that. West Garfield were pretty much put in their place on that attack in every which way. I mean, obviously they started with that bottom clear, unsuccessful, at least in that early pick. Even though the Buck from below, Bio was able to get 1, he was unable to do much else. Taking down Semi was good, especially because that was the Echo player, but because White Stairs was being guarded beautifully, there was nothing else he could do because of it. But if you're sitting there in Twitch chat typing away and you think, you know what, maybe I can do better than some of the players out there, you still have an opportunity to not only play in our qualifiers, but to make SCS Stage 2 and make the Pro-Am. On January 14th and 16th, next weekend, we've got our second set of qualifiers and our final set of qualifiers for Stage 2 of play. You can do !play in chat to get some more info about that. We're going to be casting them here. We're going to be giving you a lot of hype. So if you want to come out and showcase your skills and get your chance at making that Pro-Am and at making SCS Split 2, why don't you come out? If you didn't participate in the first qual, it is $50 to sign up for that second qualifier, money which you get back if you actually make it into the league. So if you think you can do it, why not give it a shot? Get a pug stack going, just rattle up a couple of your friends and just get involved.
That is true. I always forget about that. You get your $50 back if you qualify. So what other incentive could you want? ECLECTIQ, now within striking distance of West Garfield after their first defense, but that was off a 4K from Goons. Can Goons keep that up, or can the rest of ECLECTIQ wake up and start taking more decisive team victories rather than just a solo play? Psychosis is going to Eon a clone right through reception, past Brownstairs though, and not check MX Reaper's position. That is until MX Reaper shoots it. Malusi looking to get actually aggressive on this double door, now tucked in the corner. I'm not quite sure if Psychosis is aware of that. And oh, the run out will net one kill, nearly the second, but Barring is quick on the reaction. MX Reaper will go 1 for 1. Still killing the Iana is a big utility.
Yeah, and the aggression, I mean, it really felt like we were watching Psychosis there for a moment, but instead we were watching Psychosis die. I mean, the Malusi running out and playing aggressively, it's exactly what we've seen from Psychosis on the defensive side, and that's what Reaper is going to show us here, and what's going to work for ECLECTIQ for now. Of course, going 1 for 1, so keeping things even. West Garfield not losing out too badly in that trade, but I do argue that that still does favor the defense. Losing your Malusi, who's already placed down her Banshees, for your Yana, who's got regenerating intel and some nades and some drones, all of which are going to be shut down. Good angle there on the Maverick holes, using that to take the head of Forest. That is an angle that West Garfield were not expecting, and it will punish them. Still, this wall yet to be opened, but Barring may be the saving grace West Garfield needed. He's crept his way all the way through Whiskey Bar. No ECLECTIQ defender actually over in Whiskey Bar or in VIP. That means he's able to get there for free and get a kill for free. Has not yet been traded out. There is a defender above to worry about. Barring's got to keep an eye on the red stairs flank, but he's still busy applying pressure to the site. Goons lurking around could get involved here.
Oh, and he's going to catch Z because Goons is too slow. Semi on the shotgun, though. Holding prep gets one. Finally, the flank from Goons comes in, and Semi should land this kill if Bio walks through prep, but he's still in Big Bake. Wall shotgunned open. Semi holding the 90-degree angle and case under his control. Bio's going to try and pop flash his way in. Semi is full blind. Goons is going to need to come in to support here soon as the wall finishes getting open. Here he is. Well done by the last 2 members of ECLECTIQ. It looked scary there as Barring was getting active, I believe landing 3 kills in the round for himself, but Goons came back to sight at the perfect time as the other player held on to prep. And there we go. There's the tie scoreline. We're at 4-4.
Yeah, really, it did come on to Goons there to make a play, and he did. It got a little bit away from him for a moment there. It seemed that Barring was going unchecked, pushing through the double door, but it seemed like Goons as a whole, when he did step up, it was almost as if he was invisible for the remainder of the round. I mean, he shot several times at the feet of Barring, but Barring was too focused on elsewhere, didn't have time to turn around, never even bothered checking if Goons was working that flank, so died because of it. And then Goons kind of just wide swung onto Bio, and just Bio couldn't quite see him. He again was too focused on checking the close angle. So well played from Goons, just trying to work with his team the best he could. If he had to bait his team a little bit there, it worked just fine because he came up from behind and he got the job done. So just like that, within 2 rounds, Harrison, we are all tied up. ECLECTIQ have quickly taken that margin, have turned it to nothing. It's all tied up at 4.
They took a lot of shaky attacks and have turned them into quite the admirable defenses. Honestly, they haven't really had a lot of holes here except for that last round where they had no one covering Whiskey. But again, like we've touched on several times already, Goons came back at the perfect time. We also have a couple more updates from the bracket concerning round 1 games. Achieve Esports taking down Whittle Kitties 2-0. Whittle Kitties, of course, previously being known as Okami. So our one of 2 Challenger League teams in the playoffs has gone down, and Team Gusick taking down In Control, the Mount Olympus Pug Stack, as well, 2-0. So, unfortunately, we won't be seeing either of those teams. Now it's Achieve Esports against Team Gusick to decide who goes to SCS. Chess Club versus Nocturnes and We Miss Benfield versus Shadow Realm, though, not finishing just yet. But back to this game, Goons wanted to get aggressive on the Pillars window, just like Forrest was on his defensive side. Will not net anything, unfortunately, and he will simply just run away back to his pre-planned position on this defense. Actually looking to maybe push up red and catch someone on the hatch off guard. That could be a distinct possibility. He's got the red dot on the Vector. His first victim could be Psychosis, but the Iana will skate away as the utility clear comes down into Cocktail, looking to get rid of these shields.
Yeah, heavy utility dump coming in, and that is a successful nade to deal with the Vulcan shield in the back of Cocktail. So that's one step done. Now, Psychosis, he dropped down, and Goons missed his opportunity, but he is still gone completely unnoticed and unchecked. He's going to wide swing, and Psychosis is none the wiser. That is 2 rounds in a row. That surprise aggression has caught Psychosis, the aggressive player himself, off guard and have shut him down at the earliest point in the round possible. Now, unfortunate for him, he's not going to be involved in the remainder of the round. He's going to have to just sit on a flank cam, but those may be as important as ever because you've got several defenders eager to flank, roaming on this map, and they are hunting for some of these kills. The pressure from Skylight is still a factor here, but ECLECTIQ have not been cleared out despite 90 seconds now passing by on the clock. Barring, though, he'll pre-fire his way up long bar, and he'll finally take down Reaper. That should be the final blue outline on the top floor. Yes, it is. Everyone has since dropped down, spread out on this second floor, but they are dropped down nonetheless. So West Garfield, even though it took them a good bit of time here, they have 60 seconds to go, still 60 seconds to work with in an even man count to build the site pressure.
And 60 seconds to work with Vertical as the Buck is still alive. The replacement for the Sledge coming in full force. We'll see if Biologic can do an adequate job of flushing out these anchors and perhaps even finding some picks through the floor, but he's got to be careful of the C4 presence from Semi. He could certainly launch one up. We saw him kind of prepping to send one up before, but he's actually since backed off into the hallway, so not necessarily in the best position to. Forrest also lingers on his white stairs, whether he knows it or not. Rudy's going to just start going for the plant, figuring they have adequate cover upstairs. Here's the C4. It lands on the planter, though. Perfect throw from Semi. That forces Barring now into the site, off the cover. He's going to have to be the next planter, but he'll skate right past Diffuser. It'll end up netting him a kill. Looking for a free fire into the corner. He's unsuccessful. Where does Goons come from? Where's the cover from above? It's completely inadequate, and he wins that fight against Bio. A 3K from the Goyo. 2 of those kills really never should have happened in the first place, but he'll still win out the round for his team, and ECLECTIQ now take the lead 5-4.
Yeah, Goons is on a heater. That is 3 rounds in a row where Goons has been the pivotal player and really the pivotal element that has shut down West Garfield, whether it is on that initial attack on the top floor and they couldn't clear white stairs because of that deployable shield and Goons just frying everybody, whether it was the previous round and Goons going for a flank completely unnoticed and eventually getting that final kill, or it was this round in front of us where Goons just tore the attack apart. There was no one. It seemed like there was no one ever watching Goons. I'm still not convinced he isn't invisible because he was able to come on several different flanks, get behind into pillar and kill, Barring again. Like, how does that happen? Where's the coverage from above? Where's the coverage from pillar? He may be invisible, Harrison. I don't know. I don't know if we can rule out that aspect just yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's 11-5 now. Almost caught up to Barring, but doesn't really matter because his team is winning. ECLECTIQ have put together 3 stalwart defenses in a row now. They'll go back up to Bar, where West Garfield really didn't even touch the top floor. He had the early pick from the Frost on the player bottom white. The rest of everyone trying to put white stairs died as well, and 2 attackers died on Repel. So not a single one of them actually touched the inside of the site. Kind of actually something that we saw from ECLECTIQ several times in their attack as well. It seems like neither of these teams can really attack Cafe all too effectively. Only ECLECTIQ have started their defensive half a little bit better with a 3-0 rather than a 2-1. So, where are West Garfield going to decide to attack? The bottom up, clearly not working last round, although they did try just kind of walking up white stairs. I will say that didn't look like a completely put together cocktail take because they didn't have the Buck go below. He didn't take out those anchors. He didn't really apply any pressure on the other side of the map as well. And it looks like it's pretty standard goings from West Garfield with Bio up on the roof rather than clearing the middle floor, Rudy opening the red wall. It's a pretty standard piano overpush. And
we'll see how they continue that one. They'll get those X-Kairos pellets from the Hibana, the hard destruction that will open the reinforced wall over towards Piano. And since there's nobody from this eclectic defense playing down below, no C4 to be tossed up, it should be relatively easy for West Garfield to push on in. They've just got to deal with the player over in the corner on pixel position, where we see Duke now backing off and tucking away into bathroom. So West Garfield have cleared their way up a pretty good bit here, and doing so in a reasonably quick amount of time. They've just got to clear out the rest of this utility here. There goes that Evil Eye, which could have eventually denied that default plant. But ECLECTIQ, what's impressive right now is that everyone is still alive. They've backed off. They're playing relatively passively here, and they're just waiting for someone on West Garfield to step up. They're not putting their lives at risk early. Reaper knows he has a C4 that he could rip and lob down that white ball at any moment. You've still got someone in Freezer to support all of these angles at the same time. And so when this execute eventually happens, West Garfield, I mean, they're going to have a lot of defenders to go up against. Psychosis will start off the frags with, well, literally a frag grenade of his own. That's going to finish off the Jaeger, but now they've got to find 4 more players.
Yeah, Duke dying on white is going to prompt the fall off from a couple players. MX Reaper going downstairs, looking for the C4 from below as Psychosis is already pushed up towards pallets, and it looks like Goons has no idea. He knows now as Psychosis takes out MX Reaper coming up white, barring the next to get a kill. Z finally getting the trade, but no, the Aruni running out of ammo. It's Z trapped in Freezer. He'll land a beautiful headshot on the Forest, but now he's like a rat in a cage in the 1v2. They know exactly where he's coming from. Rudy finishes the round off easy, and West Garfield tie us up once again, 5-5.
Looked like it was slipping away there for a moment from West Garfield, especially after the messy reading take and just allowing Goons to just run free and tear them apart. But finally, we see them make a change. And after taking 4 rounds on their initial defensive half, they will finally secure their first round on the attacking half, not allowing any player to catch them off guard. And I was a little bit surprised, honestly, Harrison, that we saw ECLECTIQ play as passive as they did, right? They were all sitting back. They were all playing passive, and I complimented for that in the middle of that round. But seeing how well West Garfield dealt with that suggests to me that maybe the aggression that ECLECTIQ have brought out, the ability of them to just whip out a couple of flanks, to whip out a couple of surprising plays, that may be a bit more important to their defense than they may have realized in that round. By stepping back, sitting back, and playing a little bit more calmly, West Garfield was allowed to kind of approach the site the way they wanted to, and allowing them to do that seemed to be the death of ECLECTIQ there. Had Goons hit the shot that he was looking at, I believe he was in Cocktail and just whiffed a whole mag as the Aruni, that it may have been a very different round, but still it was West Garfield with a pretty successful attack that didn't have to deal with any random flanks or any random surprises.
Yeah, once ECLECTIQ peel back, I mean, as powerful as shields are, sometimes sitting behind a shield just paints a big target on you, as the attackers know exactly where you're going to be sitting, making you generally pretty easy fodder for things like frag grenades, like we saw from Psychosis opening up Whitehall for his team. So, ECLECTIQ will try again. Once again, bringing out the mirror windows, bringing out the shields. Although I think the mirror is new to this defense, actually.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so the mirror is new. Perhaps that will aid ECLECTIQ in their passivity, as the mirror windows, you know, you can sit behind safely while still having info on the attack instead of needing to swing to gather those. Who knows? Maybe the mirror will prevent West Garfield from simply walking into the site yet again, although they did have a lot of window pressure that worked out in their favor.
All right, I would like to see that from West Garfield again. I think it was something that really helped them get the map control, at least do it quickly. They didn't have to worry about clearing all the utility when you can just hop on a rappel and lob a couple of nades in. Psychosis has done that excellently instead. Didn't even have to use a nade there, just shot the Gone 6 and it took down the shield instantly. So he still has 2 nades for later and already made a good bit of progress in terms of this utility clear. Now, Forest dropping down the red hatch will get lit up from Duke all the way down from below. So they've identified the position of the Jaeger and they know they've got to worry about a bit of a flank. It seems those adjustments I've talked about from ECLECTIQ starting to come out here, although they haven't quite been effective. In addition, Reaper has wasted this C4 that he had in pocket, so the last bit of that plant denial utility, other than those Evil Eyes from Semi on the Maestro, will be the C4 that Goons has in his pocket. On the Mira, it's a very important piece of utility and could be even more impactful than Reaper's could have been, but something to keep in mind when a plant goes down eventually. West Garfield, though, a little bit of a different approach this time, but they're just going to get run out on by Semi, the Maestro, oddly enough. Will jump out the white window, collect a kill. He'll get traded by Psychosis. He'll now go for the swing and try to take a couple of fights. Nade from Rudy, though, took down the player in Cocktail, but here comes Reaper still in the fight and got this mirror window to work off of. Duke will take down Barring, who walked into a death trap, and now it looks like he'll step up again. Duke is taken down, but Reaper gets one back. Psychosis, he spots out his back, but can't finish the kill. That could be problematic if Reaper can find the headshot, because 45 seconds left, and these players, they're just going to go back and forth. Reaper has the pings, and he's got the pre-fire, and he will win it out. Psychosis missing a couple of key shots. Reaper punishing him for it.
What an incredible clutch from Reaper, and I believe that was Duke on the Jaeger. At first, things were really questionable for ECLECTIQ. You talked about the jump out from Semi. That was actually a dual jump out from both Semi and Goons. Goons was the first to fall, killed by the Buck. Semi traded it off, but there were two people on Rappel. Semi did not expect Psychosis to also be there. So Psychosis gets the kill on the Maestro, Rappel's into heaven. Rudy gets a frag grenade kill, I think dropping Skylight and position himself in the Cocktail rotate. So at this point, I believe it's a 2v4, right? And the attackers have nearly full control of Cocktail, but something they don't account for is Reaper still holding the mirror window. He peeks out into Cocktail, kills Rudy Hug in the corner because Psychosis plays passive in C1, not holding where the mirror window is positioned. That allows Reaper to get that kill for free, go back behind the mirror window. Duke is still over towards bathroom. He and Reaper are able to pinch Barring. Now, sure, Duke gets traded out, but you still have the Goyo running amok. He downs the Thermite, is able to get away with the kill because Psychosis doesn't land enough bullets on the Goyo. He leaves Reaper with 1 HP. And that's just enough for the Goyo to do the dance of death around the mirror window, around Freezer and Cocktail, catch the Iana off guard as they play Ring Around the Rosie, and that puts ECLECTIQ 6-5. That round should not have been that chaotic. That should have been a pretty straightforward victory for West Garfield, but they still fumble it thanks to Reaper and Duke. Reaper now 8-8, trailing behind Goons and Z, who have 11 kills apiece. And now we go down onto Kitchen. ECLECTIQ defended this successfully the last time. Again, thanks to a big flank by Goons. Can ECLECTIQ get away with it again? They have a similar roam being set up. They have Duke playing over towards Prep. Of course, Goons upstairs is mute. West Garfield last time attempted a direct push and got stumped by the flank. Are they going to be clearing top down to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Seems that right now they're going to be applying some big bakery pressure. Doesn't mean that they're not going to go all the way upstairs, but look at this. The aggression from Reaper, the same aggression we'd seen from him before. This time it will be punished by a perfectly placed Claymore. That Barring, he was very ready for that run out. Didn't even have to watch the angle himself. The Claymore did it for him. So good start. And I believe the question, Harrison, that you asked has been answered. We've got 3 West Garfield attackers all bunched up in Big Bakery, going for this direct approach. You've got somebody, I believe, all the way upstairs, while Barring applies some pressure from the back side. Goons is applying some pressure from above, though, and this is a pretty typical position for a defender to hold. If the attackers aren't going to clear top down, then the defenders are going to do whatever they can to punish them for it, staffing these angles on the default plant and on the prep run-in. That's when the top floor player on West Garfield should eventually come into effect, but we're not seeing them step up just yet, waiting until the opportune moment, I suspect, to strike. That's Bio lurking from above. For now, Psychosis will continue to swing. Barring will continue to swing, and they're going to do it unpunished. Finally, Bio will step up, taking down Goons from above. That's going to leave Semi alive, but against 4 and quickly taken down by Psychosis. Good adjustments there from West Garfield, and they got the job done in a big way.
West Garfield push us to OT, the direct push working out because they actually have people contesting the top floor. Barring, surprisingly, is able to go for the exact same play he did last time, and that's push Whiskey early, only this time he didn't need to get 3 kills. The attackers open the breach, they start to push on in. Barring gets his kill on the horizontal over towards Whiskey, then upstairs Bio is able to kill the mute looking downstairs. The Mozzie, for some reason, no longer there to cover, and West Garfield just barrel their way on in. Again, like you said, good adjustment, but it's 8-4 right now in favor of the defense. And ECLECTIQ get the privilege of starting defense on the on the first round of overtime. So they have the favorable side. Now, we know sometimes in overtime, the sides like to swap up their trends, but just going off of history, ECLECTIQ should have the advantage here.
There's no question about that. It is interesting to see them go to reading here. One of the tertiary bomb sites, we call them. But if you look at the history, I suppose, you know, they've won Bar and Cocktail once, but they've also lost it once. Actually, won it twice, but lost it once. Same thing goes for Kitchen. They've won that run once in round 8. They lost it in round 12. Reading, we've only seen from them once. That was in round 9, their third defensive round, and they were able to win it successfully. So I suppose they're going to the site with the best win rate. They've got 100% win rate here, so why not go for it again? I expect is their thought process, but they've also not seen quite yet how West Garfield adjust, how they make a couple of changes here, because last time it was almost going West Garfield's way, you could say, until Goon was able to run amok and just run all over them. As long as West Garfield can get Goons under control, the clear they had last time was enough to get things done right.
And that flank from the Goyo was pretty big, but so far, ECLECTIQ haven't been afforded those opportunities, whether it be better flank watch, whether it be the Claymores, but they're not going to be able to watch the top windows. Goons gets an early kill on Rudy, turning onto the stage window, nearly grabbing Forrest, but unfortunately missing all his shots, but still being able to get away with his life. So Rudy gets taken out. That's your Twitch. Now, there's no Mira on the board, but there are Goyo shields he could have cleared. There are, of course, you know, Wamidis, ADSs, Mute Jammers. There's a lot of utility that the Twitch could have grabbed. Rudy will unfortunately hit the floor, and now West Garfield will suffer a man deficit.
Yeah, tough start, and no surprise, though, that it is Goons to just be running all over the map like a madman, collecting kills, and West Garfield just are not prepared for it. Psychosis will be prepared for it this time. The second engagement that he'll be able to take will be successful, and Goons, who is already on pretty low HP, will be fully finished off. And no trade there from ECLECTIQ, so that kill has been quickly found back, and the fact that, I mean, it's a Twitch for a Goyo, I'd say this is a very even fight right now. There's no Mira in play, so those Twitch drones can't just sneak through the site and take down those Mira windows from behind. That was probably assumed from West Garfield if they were to encounter that Mira, but because they didn't, things are pretty even in terms of overall utility and manpower. Everyone else in this lobby is at 100 HP, but if you look at map control right now, West Garfield are taking a very unique approach. They're not contesting up above, a position where MX Reaper is now comfortable to sit in and at any point could drop down and tear apart West Garfield if they're not careful. There it goes. He'll do that. MX Reaper just sitting up above will get one. So Psychosis now will have to step up and do things the old-fashioned way. He'll get a double kill, but this is still an even 3v3. Now that we cross this 45-second mark, it's ECLECTIQ to open things up in the second half of this round. It is Duke to get a kill and Barring to trade it. Now an even 2v2. Reaper, though, in Pillar could be very problematic for West Garfield. Barring will get stunned, I believe by his own stun. Psychosis as well. We'll also have a bit of trouble seeing right now, but Barring will step up at the right moment. There goes Reaper. Last alive is Z. He's getting torn apart through the wall, and there go West Garfield. Good adjustment there on reading. They'll take round 13. Now it's their team that's on match point.
It didn't look favorable for West Garfield a lot of that round. They lost the opening pick of Rudy. Sure, they traded it back, but the 90 push, it could have gone either way after that, right? Because Psychosis, sorry, not Psychosis. I think it was Barring, pushed through the hallway to catch the shotgun. I think it was Semi peeking the hard breach charge. I mean, Semi was pretty much dead either way, but I really got to pin it on ECLECTIQ for not having anyone watching that hallway. That's a pretty standard position to have someone holding. I mean, yeah, it was good that the Aruni got a pick in the pillar, but if you don't hold that hallway, you're trolling. I mean, Bio sure dies with Case in the hallway, but Barring coming up white, I think it was able to get that refrag. And from there, you have MX Reaper trying to cover Pillar by himself with active info on him. And Z upstairs, not really covering anything of importance. So the attackers take the 2v1, well, not even really a 2v1. Barring just swung with info and caught the Aruni with her back to him. And you're in a 1v2. There's really nothing Z can do. ECLECTIQ, it looked like they had control of that round. They let it slip away. And now they're on the attack. They have to attack onto Bar, which it's going to be tough against West Garfield, especially with these mirror windows and the echo. There's a lot of utility for them to try and go through.
And again, we don't see the buck.
Nope.
Something that ECLECTIQ have, strangely enough, avoided every single attacking round. So bizarre. I mean, the fact that you lose your sledge, that should be reason enough to bring the buck if you don't already favor the buck on this map. Buck is extremely strong on this map because that soft destruction, it doesn't just go down, it goes up as well. But it doesn't seem to matter. Buck or not, Forrest is going to throw away his life. As the Echo, that is the last player of everyone in this lobby you wanted to lose. Now, those Echo drones are useless. Unless they're pre-placed in a good position where their intel is useful, he can no longer use that intel and no longer deny that plant.
Yeah, that is a fantastic first pick. Probably the best first pick you could have asked for if you're the attacks. Like you said, you've lost control of those yokais. We got another bracket update as well. Chess Club taking out Nocturnes 2-1. So, Jonah, all the Challenger League teams in our playoffs brackets have now been defeated.
Wow.
They've all been eliminated. And Chess Club await the winner of We Miss Benfield and Shadow Realm. But back to this game, MX Reaper is battling against Psychosis, and after that, he'll go down, but he's Finka, so he can just res himself. And he's going to continue trying to take this fight. Psychosis, though, knowing it's a Finka because of the LMG, will smartly back off. He does not want to do battle any longer, not with full info on him, and he'll retreat back over towards this mirror window to support Barring, who's trying to get aggressive on the red wall. Goons will drone him out. They know he's there, but he's still able to get a kill. He lands one on the semi. Z refrags Psychosis, but Barring is still on the loose, but up close. Goons frags him with the F2, and now it's Biologic and Rudy. 2 versus 4. A lot of low HP members here on ECLECTIQ, though. Goon, Z, and MX Reaper all below half. The Finka, perhaps with boosts, could land some heals. Rudy is now full blind and pixel. That shield should be dusted pretty soon, or rather the shield has gone the mirror window. He can still play behind. MX Reaper is below, looking for any nades from below, but he's not really operating off of any info. He will get the bandit batteries off, but that doesn't really matter much because your Hibana is already dead. Rudy's position is going to be the linchpin in this round. If he can get 1 kill, maybe even 2, he could potentially save this entire round and win the map for West Garfield, because ECLECTIQ are taking their time. There's only 45 seconds left now. They have wasted a lot just kind of standing around and collecting their bearings. But that's a perfect smoke. That'll cut the cross. Goons lands a biblical shot onto Bio, and that leaves Rudy alone. He has to abandon the mirror window and bathroom. He'll start to see them barrel through long bar. Down goes the Twitch. He can't transition onto the second. The plant is going down, and he'll have to let it. MX Reaper now puts us in a post plant, and the clock works against the Jaeger. Crouching up long bar, though, he's spotted by the LMG. MX Reaper lets it sing, and ECLECTIQ take us to round 15.
Love the patience from ECLECTIQ there in the last few moments. They did not get too aggressive, and they didn't move in until they knew exactly what they were dealing with. They identified the position of the Jaeger because he sent a couple of bullets flying from that bathroom mirror window, so they knew exactly where he was, and they knew exactly what cross they had to cut off. Perfect smoke grenade. Textbook use of that piece of utility. And even though Barring was able to get to his 20th kill in this map on that round, it did not matter. ECLECTIQ shut him down. They shut the aggression down. And in that 4v2, they stayed calm, they stayed composed, and they just beat West Garfield to the punch. That is exactly how you play a 4v2. You take your time, you assess the situation, and then you push in together. You never present 1v1 gunfights to the defense because, as we saw in our first series, between West Garfield and WW Academy, if you present West Garfield with 1v1s in those 2vx situations, those 1vxs, they can win those every time. ECLECTIQ did not give them that chance. They made sure that every gunfight had several attackers bearing down right behind it. They made sure that they knew everything about pushing an angle before they actually swung it. Textbook all the way through. Maybe West Garfield got a bit too aggressive for their own good. Feels like they did. We're riding the confidence of that previous round, and now, because of that, they are going to have to attack. Now they've got to go on the side that, I mean, we've seen work in overtime, but didn't work so well in regulation.
Yeah, reading room? I don't know, man. ECLECTIQ literally just lost this site in overtime. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, hey, maybe they can turn it around. Now they have floor holes as well in dining. From kitchen, you can launch a C4 up, but whether or not West Garfield actually go for that is another story. No spawn peek here from ECLECTIQ, meaning they don't have an early opening frag onto someone like Rudy, who is playing a far more important operator this round than the Twitch. You've also got Biologic flexing off of Buck onto Flores. So you no longer have that easy vertical play, even though West Garfield are looking to clear the top floor. So, a bit interesting that they decide to swap the Buck for the Flores instead of someone like the Nomad, perhaps, but they just still want that extra coverage of the flank watch, that extra added peace of mind that the air jabs bring. But they'll start to clear in already. Forest is in piano, a minute down. Shield is gone from Cocktail as well, making it a little bit easier for West Garfield to push in.
I do like the fact that we're still seeing these air jabs in play because Goons has been a threat on these flanks constantly, and look at him. I mean, he really wants this kill onto Psychosis. He won't be able to get it. Barring is actually the one to get the opening frag. That one onto Reaper, taking down the Aruni, being cut down to 1 HP for his troubles, and because there's no Finka in play, at 1 HP he will remain for this round, and likely to be finished off pretty quickly. A couple of bullets through the floor even could do him in. Now, we don't see anyone actively staffing this top floor anymore from ECLECTIQ. West Garfield have made this clear very efficiently, and now they're going to have to find a way to get this control back. Goons is running all over the place. Z wants a kill, and they're going to get shut down. There goes Goons. Good flank watch from Rudy. Psychosis getting the kill onto Z that he needed, and Semi and Duke are all that remains. You're going to have Duke on the white stairs. His position is surely known as he takes an aggressive swing. Forest has some air jabs set up for this as well, so Semi is going to have to really clutch up on the site, but he doesn't have a C4 to work with either. Duke spots out one, but Biologic takes down his teammate, and now it is going to be all up to the low HP Jaeger. He's going to get naded now on a sliver of HP. Another nade works his way towards him, and he will be finished off. Finally, in round 15, it took us all the way to the end of overtime, but West Garfield will take the map.
I don't understand ECLECTIQ's thought process there. They literally just lost reading the round prior, and they do the opposite of what's been working for them on the defense. At the beginning of their defensive half, right? They're winning rounds off of aggressive plays, and they're winning rounds off of flanks. As soon as West Garfield wise up to that, it no longer works, and ECLECTIQ have to get passive. It works for them a couple times. It does work. On reading, though, the initial reading attempt, they get aggressive and they try to go for peaks, and it ends up really punishing them. And it seems like on their second go of reading in overtime on round 15, they tried to lean into that even more. MX Reaper is pushed up all the way to B1 with no recourse, no rotate, no nothing, where he's been droned out every single freaking time. It didn't work the first 4 times. It's not going to work the 5th, Reaper. Then you have people like Z. People like Goons trying to get aggressive, trying to take the ground back. But all West Garfield are doing are sitting and waiting because they know you're going to go for that play. And this is exactly the same thing we saw from ECLECTIQ in stage 1 of the regular season against One Shot. They take One Shot off guard. They get early aggressive advantages in the early round. But as soon as One Shot wise up to that, all they have to do is sit and wait, and ECLECTIQ, time and time again, on their defense, push into the waiting arms of the attack.
Just the first map, though, and all the errors that ECLECTIQ may have made, all the errors that West Garfield may have made, they can learn for them before we go into map 2. It's a best of 3. There is still a lot of Siege yet to be played in this series alone, and if this first map teaches us anything and tells us anything about this series, that this next map of Oregon should be a thriller. Both of these teams, they know exactly what this map is like. They can frag out on this map, much like they did on Cafe. Barring dropped 21 kills, I think, by the end of that map. So heading into Oregon, I cannot wait to see what these teams are going to deliver for us. Before we get there, though, gotta deliver another shout out to one of our wonderful sponsors, Mavix Gaming Chairs. If you haven't experienced Mavix Gaming Chairs for yourself, you can do so with the assistance of NerdStreet Gamers with a $55 discount code NSG55 at checkout. All Mavix Gaming Chairs, the exclusive partner of NerdStreet Gamers and local host, by the way. All Mavix Gaming Chairs feature the Future 9 functions of critical ergonomics to support gamers everywhere. We all sit for long periods of time, and it's very, very important to spend the money and get a good share. We're sitting in it all the time. You might as well be comfortable. You can get yours today for as little as $22 a month, and you can do that all at mavix.com. That is mavix.com/NerdStreetGamers. So while you take a break and stretch from your uncomfortable chair and you shop on mavix.com, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got Oregon, which should hopefully be a fantastic second map for this series. We'll see you in a moment.
B3, make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's going to come down.
Favor making a third as he puts up. Make it up. He finds the drop. Three. Stunning here from
Welcome to the NerdStreet Winter Championships, featuring SCS6, a yearly open tournament series hosting the best players and teams North America has to offer, culminating in a community favorite, the Pro-Am. So let's discuss format. During the Winter Champs season, SCS6 will consist of 2 stages, where each stage begins with 2 open qualifiers. Once Stage 1 is complete, there will be an additional tournament offering 1 more qualification spot prior to Stage 2. Through participating in SCS6, players will acquire leaderboard points and cash prizing. The winning teams from Stage 1 and 2, as well as the additional tournament, will qualify for the Pro-Am. The top 2 teams from the leaderboard will also qualify. As we approach the end of the season, the final qualification spot will be determined through a last chance qualifier. The Grand Finals of the Winter Champs SCS6 will feature the return of the Pro-Am, where the top amateur teams have an opportunity to define their talent against the North American Pro League. But in the end, only one team will be crowned Winter Champs. Sign up today and make history.
There once was a tournament during the season of snow, filled with contenders of might, with names Deez, Ligma, and Joe. The road was a trying one, wrists aching with cramps. In the end, victors rose. We call them Winter Champs. Before they departed, they left us these words. Our journey's just begun, all thanks to the nerds.
B3, make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's going to come down.
Favor making a third as he puts up. Make it up. He finds the drop. Three. Stunning here from
It took a while, Harrison, but finally, map 1 done and dusted. 15 rounds, 8-7 victory for West Garfield over ECLECTIQ. It was a good one, though, and it was a lot closer than any other map we saw here tonight. West Garfield had to work at it, but they made it happen on Cafe. Now, can they translate that to Oregon?
Yeah, unfortunately for ECLECTIQ, we saw a lot of shades of their Stage 1 performance, a lot of errors when it comes to just when to control the aggression, when to push out, when to hold back and play your shields and mirror windows and such like that. And well, West Garfield kind of wised up to the tricks of ECLECTIQ pretty early on their attacking half. And while Eclectic didn't really find much success after that. Now we're heading on to Oregon, though, another map where you can be severely punished if you don't know how to control your aggression. Hopefully Eclectic have taken a step back, looked at themselves, and figured out what they need to do. They'll be starting on the defense, as this is West Garfield's map pick, and I imagine they'll probably go with some standard bans. Last map, they were the ones to ban Thatcher. I wouldn't imagine that changes here on Oregon. Thatcher's a good ban, pretty much everywhere. It was West Garfield that brought out the sledge. Maybe they have something interesting in store for us here too.
Right, we could see some interesting bans here on Oregon. I don't expect to see anything too crazy, given that this is Oregon and there isn't as much fluidity with the... All right, ignore me. Ignore me, we're going to see some crazy bans. We've got the Finka in play, with the Finka out of play, and that is an exciting change here. We've seen her a lot on every map played tonight. She is a staple of the meta right now. She adds so much in terms of utility with those frag grenades, adds a lot of HP to the side of attackers, and gives them those 3 Finka boosts that she carries in her pocket. Now, that's something we'll have to see how it comes into later. The Valkyrie, that's not going to be unusual. We know exactly how that changes things. And the Kaid ban, we know exactly how that changes things too. We don't have those electro claws in play, slightly limiting the hard breaching of the attackers, but because Maverick is still on the board, that's not going to be too much of an issue for attacking teams to circumvent.
And plus, with a Cade ban, a lot of times, or rather sometimes, we don't even see Maverick played because it's pretty easy to get rid of a bandit or a mute without the need of that torch. And you can see the attack is already going to kind of throw Maverick to the wayside and say, we don't need him. Hibana is all we need. They'll be attacking on the Laundry, again, one of those very hatch-centric sites if you want to open them all up. Otherwise, you can suffice with just opening up E-Box and then rotating towards Elbow and such. Bio's going to be off sledge onto Flores. Sledge, not the greatest operator on this map. You'll find a lot more mileage with those Rotero drones, especially because Eclectic are leaning into the Goyo, into the Wamai and the Jaeger, the Smoke Shield, etc. Lots of destructible utility that Flores is going to find stock in. I'm going to turn our attention mainly onto Forest. Mainly onto the Ying. Whether he's bringing hard breach charges or smokes, the Ying always acts as that kind of wedge on this site, whether it be over towards the freezer side of things or whether he's facilitating an E-Box drop. That Ying acts as, like I said, that spear that shoves itself right into the middle of the defense and kind of works to part it and allow you to grab those easy frags, whether the defenders be blinded or just separated from the rest of the pack. So very interested to see where Forrest is going to be placing his utility.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
I mean, not only can his smokes, cut off pretty important angles, but like you said, those Candelas, it flashes several defenders and forces them to become basically AFK in a corner, or at the very least, they have to tuck tail and run. They have to move back, and like you said, that cuts the site in half. Now, also, attacking team, even without the Ying, could cut the site in half by going for that 2-pronged freezer and laundry approach that has become all too common on this basement attack. It's unclear exactly how West Garfield are going to approach this one right now. We've seen both of these approaches from them in terms of overall attacking success. We just saw them play Oregon. We did see that in our previous series. So we generally know that they're going to just try to get all of their options open and available to them. They're going to get this freezer hatch open. They're going to get that laundry hatch open. They're going to get a lot of pressure building over towards E-Box and over towards the tower side of things, all while clearing out these roamers and making sure there is nobody tucked away in places like top of tower in T3. Nobody's there. Everyone is downstairs. All 5 defenders, they don't want to roam. They don't want to take early fights. Instead, they want to sit back and wait for West Garfield to come to them. A risky strategy, as we've seen for Eclectic, because we know how strong West Garfield can be on these pushes, especially with a Ying in pocket. All of that utility dumping later in the round could prove problematic for Eclectic.
I think Eclectic are, again, looking at how they played Cafe, figured they were a little bit over-aggressive and now are playing the sit-and-wait game. But you see Forrest hovering above the E-Box hatch, I believe, waiting for his use of those Candelas to be called. But he's rotating over towards the laundry side of things, maybe joining Bio in his attempt of pushing this side of the map. He'll do away with the shield in the rotate, making the defenders a little less safe to challenge that. Goons and Harry Potter duos with Duke sitting here in pillar. Their area, or their player to focus on is going to be Barring, but it's actually Rudy to drop and take care of the Harry Potter player. Forrest with those Candelas takes out Duke. Here's another one on the docket. It's Reaper who goes down amidst the Goyo fire, and now it's Z and Semi alone in a 2 versus 5. 50 seconds to delay, make it just Semi now as his teammate gets taken out, and Semi's blindsided by Bio, dropping the laundry hatch. Every single avenue of attack being exploited expertly by this attack.
Oh, that was beautiful. And the use of the Candelas, there's nothing better than seeing it, a Ying, work so perfectly than that. I mean, Forrest played that to perfection, using those Candelas to not only aid his drop down the E-box hatch, but to aid his teammates as they pushed in from blue, as they pushed in from tower stairs. Of course, he did end up blinding Barring because of just the timing of his push, but Barring was fine. He had already done his job, covering that player in pillar, trapping him in the corner, and giving Forrest the opportunity to secure that kill. Big play by Rudy as well to get the kill onto Goons sitting in Harry Potter. As we've talked about so far this series, Goons has been a very, very potent threat that West Garfield have struggled to kind of control and deal with him. But when you take him down early like that and you prevent him from using his gun, his Vector, or his C4, I mean, that is exactly what you need as an attack to free up your options. At that point, with the kill onto Goons and eventually with the kill onto the Jaeger sitting in pillar, I think it was Duke at the time, pretty much that control had been secured of the pillar side, of the north side, of the bottom floor. And from there, the Candelas forced everyone back, forced every defender into the attacker's waiting arms. That's why the round was flawless, and that's exactly what West Garfield need to keep up if they want to keep going with this attacking success.
ECLECTIQ got completely run over. It seems like they don't really know what to do, whether to play passive or aggressive, because when they get aggressive, they get too aggressive and peek right into West Garfield. When they play passive, they play too passive and let West Garfield take whatever control they want. It's tough for ECLECTIQ to find, that middle ground of not getting, monkey-like and ranked style and just pushing out every which way, and also not giving the attackers control for free. Hopefully they're able to figure it out sometime this map before it's too late. They'll be working to try and defend the top floor again with a very standard lineup: Aruni, Gates, Jaeger, Wamai. A lot of projectile denial here to protect the shields of that Goyo, and just all around deny the type of play that Forrest wants with his throwables. A very throwable-centric attack, with the exception, of course, of that Flores, who can ride right past all of that to destroy those shields and other pieces of utility. West Garfield right now just droning Armory, making sure there's no one from the defense acting aggressively. But again, they've got pretty much all this control into Trophy for free.
And that's now why Bio is going to whip out that first Rotero drone. I'll bring that one through, just opening up a rotate, actually, between Master and that Armory Hall. So they'll have a quick angle to work his way on into there. And through that very angle, he'll work his drone in, but it gets muted, shutting down his ability to use that for later. Psychosis, though, he doesn't really mind with the rest of whatever's going on the other side of this map. He'll take his first kill, but Goons will quickly trade it back. Barring alone downstairs, isolated from the rest of his team, Goons takes advantage. Z does get lit up, though, I suspect by Psychosis here, who now tries to finish off this kill with a couple of nades. The first one burned Wamaidis, the second not quite far enough into the corner. Forrest now, it's his turn to step up. Smokes go in, Candelas to follow. C4, though, will shut down the first player. Bio is gone. And now Forrest has got to step up in time, but his team is falling all around him. Goons sneaks up and takes down Rudy. Now Psychosis and Forrest are very far apart from one another. Forrest being lit up from below. Z lighting up Psychosis, and it's Forrest on 1 HP. All that remains. He's going to be forced back, and Goons, with all the confidence in the world, whips out the pistol and finishes off the round for ECLECTIQ.
Well done to Goons and the rest of his team, and this is what we see from ECLECTIQ, or this is what we saw from ECLECTIQ on Cafe that really worked out well for them. The majority of your players on site with maybe again, like a maximum of one flanker at a time, typically Goons, and it works wonders. Most of ECLECTIQ on the site there were holding firm. No one from West Garfield could make their way in. Psychosis on the big window, not able to apply adequate pressure. Semi landing the C4 kill onto Bio. Meanwhile, you have Goons running amok downstairs, not only killing Barring, also able to flank up Armory and kill another one of those trophy players, completely disrupting that push. And from there, Forrest couldn't really do much to salvage it. That is the kind of aggression we need to see from ECLECTIQ. Sure, that guy's getting a super aggressive, but it's only one. It's not like you're throwing 3 bodies at this roam and losing all of them like we saw on those later defensive rounds of Cafe.
We'll tie it up at 1 here, and West Garfield will now have another opportunity to attack the basement, and ECLECTIQ will have an opportunity to adjust down below. Unusually so, however, we're not seeing Forest bring out the Ying again. Especially because we don't see that Aruni in play. No more Surya Gates. It's just the Wamai, just the Jaeger as that projectile denial. I mean, the Ying could be as impactful as ever, but maybe West Garfield figured, you know what, they're going to have a counter for it this time. Maybe they're going to bring out the Warden. Maybe they're just going to be extremely prepared for it, and we want to change up our strategy. So regardless of if that was advisable or not, they're going to go for the change. Twitch in play now from Forest, which, given the Twitch, semi-recent buff, is not a bad pick, because those Twitch drones can deal with those Goyo shields. They can jump their way around the site like any drone, and if you can elude capture, they can be an incredibly potent piece of utility. Right now, they're just going to be utilized on this roam clear, seeing if anyone is extended off the map. As West Garfield learned in the previous round, ECLECTIQ are eager to get a little bit more aggressive and maybe a little bit more roam heavy, but as we can tell, nobody is extended off the bottom floor for now. The closest player to actually contesting anyone on the top floor will be Duke, sitting on the back tower stairs.
I wonder if someone later in the round is going to be going for a flank. Maybe that's what Duke is playing for if he never gets pushed out. But we're a minute down, and West Garfield are already cloning in through Freezer. Bulletproof Cam, unfortunately, missing its shot onto the Iana, and allowing the Twitch drone through means that Bulletproof Camera is going to be done and dusted. No more hard info on Freezer, save for just peeking in there and face-checking yourself. And Psychosis is going to take that opportunity to apply some early pressure. Duke, who is still lingering in tower, goes down to Barring. First kill of the round goes to West Garfield and the Zofia. We saw Barring drop over 20 in the last map. He's looking to maybe be on track for that this map as well. Goons is sitting and waiting and ready with a C4, but Barring is not getting aggressive. He is simply holding tower while the rest of his team sets up their attack. Psychosis continuing to nade down. Will do away with, it looks like actually both Goyo shields? I don't know how it got the second one. Maybe shrapnel through the drone hole? I would have to imagine. That's a little bit confusing, but both Goyo shields are done and dusted thanks to one nade. Goons gets aggressive and Barring catches him, so the Goyo will fall along with his shields. Now it's a 5-3 favor of West Garfield.
Yeah, they're in a really good spot right now because they've got people just about on every single angle on this bottom floor, and they pretty much know exactly where every single defender is positioned. I mean, you've got people on that E-box hatch ready to drop down, and that they will. Here comes Forest. Reaper will get one, but quickly traded by Forest, who was ready with that F2, leaving Semi and Z to fend for themselves down below. Psychosis shutting down Z. That means it is all up to the smoke of Semi, who is not much longer for this world. Great drop down E-box from Forest. He'll swing around the long haul and deal with the smoke on the rotate very quickly. That is West Garfield now continuing to hold their lead by 1.
ECLECTIQ, with not already having someone established on the aggressive stance, they try to push up Duke through tower. He's caught by Barring. Goons tries to follow suit. He as well is caught by Barring, and from there in a 5v3, ECLECTIQ can do nothing but sit back and watch as West Garfield waste away all their utility, take the control, and land the shots they need. As we know West Garfield to do when ECLECTIQ give them, again, all that control without disrupting anything, and they couldn't. Again, because of Barring. Now it's meeting hall and kitchen for ECLECTIQ. It is the offsite. They're going to have to hold the top floor. I imagine that's going to probably be the task of Goons and MX Reaper. Sometimes we see the Echo playing upstairs, but that's more of a toss-up. I mean, hey, maybe Duke will be up there as well. A lot of this site, really all of this site, can hinge on your top floor players. If they are all still alive, it's pretty tough for the attackers to fully take in and get that plant down. No castle off split, the castle being left up, unlike the last map. Of course, T's got 4 barricades now. I imagine one might be placed on security as well. Maybe one on the kitchen door. Maybe a couple upstairs. We see sometimes castle barricades being placed on big window, kids window, trophy doorway as well. And actually barricade off showers hall. And West Garfield's drones are set up as if they're going to be pushing from small tower. No? They had a few drones set up on that side of the map. Maybe they're just slow to get in the building, but otherwise you got one coming in from garage. Okay, two coming in from small tower.
All right, so honestly, just making sure they've got someone at every single entrance of this map, every single spawn, but the only thing that's going to result in is an early death. Barring taken care of. Where was he pushing
He
it?
was outside white window. See, right by the school bus.
Aha, there he is. And, well, he's gone. There goes your Zofia. The player who dropped 21 will not be able to contribute in round number 4 here on Oregon, because once again, Goons is running all over the map and is just hard to get a hold of. West Garfield still struggling, despite it being so long at this point, dealing with the Goons. Still struggling to actually get him under wraps. But they've dealt with Duke here, who's 0-4 right now. The Alibi, who was hoping to use that MX4 Storm to its full capacity as a very frag-heavy weapon, will not be a factor in this round either. Now, Bio droning out this top floor will spot out the Jaeger, and Goons backing on off, now trying to retreat, will escape successfully. One quick bullet miss there from Forrest. He'll land one shot, but not the second. But Goons almost overstays his welcome. Risky to try to re-peek there, but he will drop down towards Kitchen just as Semi provides support and takes down Rudy. That's your hard breacher gone. A very good pick for this eclectic defense to have.
That's also the only player not upstairs, and he'll drop Case in dining. That'll force Forrest to have to rotate downwards. Psychosis pushing aggressively in the White Hall as well. Forrest lands the kill onto Semi, but MX Reaper trades on that other downstairs player. But what? Forrest just spams through the wall and catches MX Reaper rotating. That's a feel-bad moment for the castle, and the nade comes in, lighting up Goons even more. 2 versus 2. HP, though, in the advantage of West Garfield, and they've got a whole minute to work the vertical because Biologic is still alive. Also spot out Z, rotating over towards the stage with this Twitch drone. Forrest has the info. He knows these players are pretty far afield from the case. This is a free pickup for him, and Biologic is upstairs looking to cover that plant. Only he'll drop. He'll take the site control. He sees the opportunity. Now it's going to be more difficult for the defenders to try and come back. Goons is coming in from the hallway side of things. Z inside of meeting. He catches Forrest on the rotate, looking for Bio. He can't land the pre-fire. Bio, he tries going for the pickup. No, he was trying to pick up the case, but Forrest's body was in the way. He'll have to team kill, and now he's in the 1v2. He'll just narrowly miss Z, moving in the split, and the time is not on his side. This round might just be over by virtue of the clock, as now he's on stage behind the table. In comes Z. He can see the hammer. He knows exactly where Bio is, and that's not going to go the way of the sledge. He gets one, but Goons is just around the corner for the trade, and Eclectic tie us up 2-2.
That's one of those rounds that West Garfield certainly wants back. You have Goons on 1 HP, and you let him kill Forrest as you retreat through Kitchen. It was bold, and it seemed like a smart decision to drop down into Kitchen, given that they could take the control. But one thing they didn't realize is because they only had 2 players left alive, they couldn't maintain control of any other part of the map. And that means now they've put themselves in the middle of Kitchen, a room that can be surrounded from like 3 different sides. You've got the green hall, the rotate into meeting, and you've got the 2 security soft walls. You've basically put yourself in a death trap. And because not only one, but both players dropped down and took up a position in Kitchen, they found themselves quickly very vulnerable to several players as they worked their way through and just tried to go for the flank. Had they planted in Kitchen quickly and maybe repositioned in dining to hold the post plant, maybe that could have been a good decision. But because they dropped into Kitchen only to then run through the entire site, they exposed themselves to too many angles, and the result of that is one player got picked off. At that point, it was a 2v1. Almost impossible, really, for that one to be won.
Yeah, Eclectic did very well to hold on there. I'm surprised Goons survived as long as he did as well. But now they'll go, back downstairs. They have struggled with this site massively so far, but we'll have a drastic playstyle change now, and this might be what Eclectic need. They will establish a roam. No more free control for West Garfield. Eclectic are looking to push out, aided by these castle barricades restricting the access for West Garfield. You've even got a top floor roamer, the Vigil of Duke, lording over dorms, and West Garfield might have a bit of a tougher time pinning these people down, but they do have the Jackal, so at the very least, the Vigil will not be able to hide from everyone.
Right, they've got the Jackal and the Nomad. Forest making the adjustment from the Twitch over towards the Nomad and bringing those air jabs. It seems that they saw through this decision that ECLECTIQ were going to make perfectly because they brought the perfect counter. Theoretically, the perfect counter for this setup. The air jabs to lock off those rotations and the Jackal to pin down these pesky roamers like Duke and track them down, forcing them eventually to rotate back to the site. They've spotted out Duke, and he's been forced to get the heck out of there. He's now backed off to tower, maybe going for a little bit of a retake here, but as long as he's being pinged by that Jackal tracker, he is not going to be able to step up and get aggressive. Right now, though, West Garfield, they're trying to abbreviate this clear just a bit. They've got 2 players upstairs, but they're now trying to pressure into security, and they're going to do so perfectly. Bio collects that kill onto Reaper. Now, Z is able to get a trade, though. I believe he's peeking up, but either that was top of freezer stairs or that was through the freezer hatch. Either way, a very important kill there because there's your Nomad now dealt with.
Yeah, and that was actually a good angle from Bio to get MX Reaper. That was actually through the floor, looking into the security hatch. So MX Reaper unable to escape. Or even 4 versus 4, but you've still got this Vigil of Duke to worry about unless he rotated back down to the site. Those Jackal pings, yeah, okay, he's in pillar now. So, I mean, while he might not be droned out because he's the Vigil, that's still a pretty standard position to hold, so I doubt he'll stay hidden forever. We're now down to just about a minute left for West Garfield to play with. They're not looking terrible. They're looking pretty good as they continue to take this control. They'll drone in through Feezer and spot goons rotating through the head holes. Castle Barricade on Laundry will also go down. That's where Bio is currently playing. Rudy with Diffuser. I wonder what his plan of action is. It looks like he's going to be dropping security, it looks like, as he's kind of hovering above the hatch and droning currently. He'll flash down, try and make way for some nades, and this could find its mark. Yeah, goons can't get away in time. Wait, actually, he lives? I'm surprised he survives that nade. He doesn't survive the peek from Psychosis, and there is no trade just yet. In fact, Z will be the next to go down. Finally, Duke comes in. He saves the day so far. Bio, the next to fall thanks to the gas canister, but Barin wades in and fells the smoke. Now it's just Duke. He downs one. He's got this shield to play with, but Rudy knows where he is. He's trapped in the mirror closet. Duke's got to push out, but no, he's just going to hold, and there we go. Another kill for Duke. Pretty much the only thing standing in the way of West Garfield, will win the round and take the advantage for ECLECTIQ.
Yeah, and pretty much the only reason ECLECTIQ won that round. Their defense was crumbling. It was falling apart at every turn, but Duke just holds down the site by himself, getting the kills he needed, and he got a little bit of an assist from the smoke canister, so that's something, but really just locking that one down, and very surprising. I mean, sometimes as a Vigil, you're forced in the early round to make a decision. Do I want to keep roaming and try to force the issue and take a gunfight, or do I want to rotate back and play with my team on the site? Sometimes, though, it's just nice to have another gun on the site, and you can make your impact in the late round, and Duke just proved that. Didn't get too aggressive on the roam. Despite being scanned by the Jackal, he didn't get killed. He backed off and played it safe to clutch up the round and win it for his team. Had he died early, had he peeked, and even had he traded early, he would not have been alive to clutch up the round in the way that he just did. That is why it is so important to play safe and get back early. And with that, for the first time here on Oregon, ECLECTIQ will take the lead. In our earlier series, West Garfield against Wichita Wolves Academy, we saw how quickly West Garfield ran away with it when they entered their defensive half with that 3-3 split. If ECLECTIQ can take this 4th round here, they won a round right then that they were not supposed to. They've done their job. They've just got to take dorms. If they can do it, I'd give them more than a fighting chance on their second half.
Yeah, that's the thing. We really can't count out West Garfield, even if they go down 4-2 here, just because of how good they've been on the defense. They took the 4-2 defensive half last time on Cafe, and then actually took their attacks in overtime, curiously enough. But we'll see how this last round of the half treats us. Psychosis on Armory. West Garfield looking to probably make a very similar push to the last time they took top floor. In through Armory, then, moving through Master into Trophy, open Master Breach, what have you. But the person who was running amok and one of the sole reasons why ECLECTIQ was able to win their previous Storm's defense, Goons, will get taken out very early on. It looked like he was peaking the game's window. He was able to get a 3K on the previous attempt, but he'll be the first pick here.
Lost control of Gemini.
And we see Psychosis using that Yana clone to work his way up into Trophy, see if there's anyone in there contesting early. Don't believe anyone is in Trophy proper, but there is somebody down below to deal with. At least until a moment ago, there were actually two players, Duke on the Aruni and a Reaper on the Goyo, both eager to just get into some early fights and surprise West Garfield with some aggression. I don't believe Reaper has been spotted, but there should be an air jab on split. I did just hear it detonate, so somebody should have an idea that Reaper is down below. Forrest will now step up. He knows where Reaper is positioned, but Reaper was more than prepared to take that fight. And because Forrest was not only peeked the wrong way, but because he was alone, that's a free kill, and it will not go traded initially. Instead, West Garfield, they're too busy focusing on the site, and considering there is still a minute 20 left, not dealing with Reaper, that may have been a bit of an oversight. We'll now be able to get back to the site for free, and West Garfield, instead of facing, a 4v3 on the site, it is likely going to be a 4v4, or it'll be a 4v3, but then there's going to be a C4 from Reaper down below to worry about.
Yeah, Reaper at least is damaged, but like you said, that's not too much of a solace if that C4 finds its mark. Baring is looking to fast push Attic here against Semi, who's hard holding this window with the shotgun. The Zofia, even if he adequately stuns out his opponent, will probably still die here, but Rudy, he's waited his way on in. Here's the plant attempt. Duke finishes off Psychosis, but the plant is going down. C4 is in the wrong spot. Bio's on the hunt as well. He kills MX Reaper. Duke able to kill the planter, and Baring can't make any success. An Attic. Now he's biologic alone. He's got to cover the plant against 3 different defenders. And as Duke starts going, wow, Semi whips around. I thought he was going to get caught off guard because he started looking the wrong way, but Bio is no more, and ECLECTIQ take a 4-2 half.
What a way to bounce back for ECLECTIQ, taking 3 in a row when it looked so improbable. I mean, starting with that last basement win. Winning on a site that they haven't won before. Winning it on a round where they really weren't supposed to win. They go ahead to dorms and they make it look easy. West Garfield seems that they may have gotten a little bit flustered towards the end there. Didn't know exactly what to do about the player down below. And so when it came to positioning for that post plan, everyone was a little bit all over the place, especially, I believe it was Baring over on Attic. He had to jump in, otherwise he would have not been able to really help in the post plant. But he had somebody watching that window. Semi was sitting there extremely patiently, waiting until he knew that Baring had to jump in. So he sat there even after the bomb had gotten down, when Baring thought, oh, Semi, for sure, he's got to fall off this angle. No way he can still hold me. Semi was waiting with a shotgun. He took down the Zofia. He shut down Baring. I mean, Baring has been pretty much shut down so far this map. Only 4 and 5 right now when he dropped 21 on the previous map. So ECLECTIQ, they've found something that works. They're doing it so far to a pretty high standard here on West Garfield's map pick of Oregon. But now West Garfield go on the defense, and we could see a very different story.
I mean, West Garfield's defenses have been fierce on this map, and you've also got Forrest on the FO12. He has been truly demonic with that weapon, not something I would want to go up against. West Garfield also bringing the Mira that ECLECTIQ had kind of shrugged off despite her being left up. Some teams just simply do not like Mira because they force you to play a certain way, and ECLECTIQ obviously didn't want to. We've also got on ECLECTIQ the Lion rather than the Nomad as their flank watch, so that means ECLECTIQ probably want to take fast and take hard on their roam clears, and you've got Goons, the Flores, so all that utility from West Garfield, the Jaeger, and the Womai will likely be bypassed. I mean, they're only taking 1 shield from Forrest, but still, I'm sure the Flores will come in handy. They continue to try and clear this roam. They haven't found a kill just yet, but they also haven't lost any bodies. There's no one really to clear with the exception of Psychosis, who is in Garage. And actually, no, I just spotted Baring. I just realized his silhouette is all the way up towards Attic, so hopefully ECLECTIQ have better flank watch than West Garfield's previous opponents did.
Well, West Garfield right now have 3 defenders extended and hunting for kills, but Psychosis is stuck in Garage. His position, I believe, is known, and there's nowhere he can go because he's being actively held by Duke, I believe, through a couple of punch holes. Now, West Garfield, if they can exploit this, maybe they can get a couple of kills here, but Psychosis is in a heck of a lot of trouble, and there it is. Finally finished off, only able to land a bullet or 2 before eventually falling. Nobody else from West Garfield was near enough to play the trade. Instead, Baring chose to play that one safe. Rudy chose to play that one safe. So now Baring's going to have to just step up like this. He'll spot someone out, but then choose to sprint through the hallway where he knows attackers have got to be positioned, and Reaper sitting in Z will collect a kill. It was essentially a trade, but that means that West Garfield are still down a man. ECLECTIQ still with a 4v3 advantage.
I also just realized ECLECTIQ aren't taking into E-Box. They have not opened the hatch despite Semi still being alive. I don't know if they're out of hard breach or maybe they're saving their hard breach for the mirror windows. I mean, just opening up E-Box will complete... No, he's got full utility. Literally just opening up E-Box will completely deny that position that Biologic was previously playing, but he's since scattered off over towards Harry Potter. He's got a C4 in his pocket, but now he's getting stunned out. Duke might know exactly where he is. They're worried about someone perhaps playing in Pillar, but of course there is no one there. Finally, Semi will go to work and open up that hatch. Flash is coming in from Goons. He'll send in his first Flores drone. There is no shield in Elbow. That position is ripe for the taking if the attackers choose to go for. All three defenders have their eyes turned towards Pillar and Tower Stairs, though. With only 25 seconds to go, the attackers are going to have to get a move on. First, Forrest will take a body. Rudy, again, will get a trade after Forrest dies. Bio will actually put the favor in his team's pocket, but Duke gets the trade. Now we're in a 1v1. Bio is just around the corner, and Duke is sprinting. Bio takes advantage, and West Garfield win their first defense.
Very clean hold. Again, West Garfield proving that it doesn't matter how few they have left alive, whatever advantage that their opponents hold, they can still win out the round with discipline, and they just showed us that. They did not swing after losing those first two players. They all just buckled down. They stayed calm on the site, and they waited for ECLECTIQ to make the move. Now, ECLECTIQ, they were a bit slow in making that move. You highlighted the delay, the time it took for them to open E-Box, and because of that, the freedom that West Garfield had to maneuver on the site. And they knew they had that freedom. They could relocate. They could surprise ECLECTIQ with their positioning. And as you saw in the end, Bio's positioning going unknown, they did surprise ECLECTIQ a little bit there. Taking a couple of good gunfights through that soft wall facing Tower Stairs from Supply Room, winning that fight. Eventually, ECLECTIQ did win that fight, but West Garfield started it off and got 2 kills. I mean, really, it was a good 3v4 hold, and West Garfield do a nice job exploiting their opponents in those, disadvantaged situations, whether that's a 1vx, 2vx, or 3vx. They have done a fantastic job in closing those rounds out. So now they narrow the gap to 1. They're still down. ECLECTIQ still hold the advantage here, but that is a round that ECLECTIQ definitely want back.
5 seconds to insertion.
But like you said, at least they still hold a round advantage. They're going to have to be taking onto the top floor. Still exact same operators with the exception of the Twitch now being donned by Goons. Figuring that Flores last time didn't really do them too much. And while there's only one shield to deal with, so the Flores, while still useful, isn't really the best choice. You're going to find much more mileage out of other operators when there's so few shields being played. Psychosis looking for the pre-fire onto the white van. He'll land damage on the Semi, but other than that, not much. Now, ECLECTIQ are aware of the fact that a roamer is present downstairs. Whether or not they choose to deal with Psychosis, however, is another story. You've got someone positioned all the way by the shower halls and white side of things. That's going to be Z, looking for maybe a nade through the floor. Actually, no, it's just going to go into white stairs to deal with the barbed wire early on. Interesting. I like that. But as ECLECTIQ start to move in, there's really no contention. And the wall is going to go down pretty much for free, although the nade comes up as Forrest lets out a C4, and never mind. Z will be ripped off the board very early on.
Ooh, a little bit of a mute trick here. Forrest repositioning that not quite in time. Actually, it was in time. He got all of them that mute jammer could cover. It couldn't cover that top left corner, so one pellet will go off just as Duke gets a kill of his own, and actually Reaper gets a follow-up. Psychosis gives him the compliment there, but Rudy collects one at the same time. So we're still at an even man count here. West Garfield gave a couple of kills back, but they were able to get a trade in response. So still sitting even. Barring at the top of white stairs, both Rudy and Bio have since repositioned over in kids because ECLECTIQ, they've got this wall open successfully and they've got control of games should they want to push in. Now, Barring's position at the top of the white stairs may be unknown, but everyone knows where Rudy is, swinging them constantly, trying to provide this coverage, and there goes Barring. He's now been spot out as well. So that's why Goons is going to work his way down below. A full minute to work with is ample time to reposition a couple of these attackers, but you got to wait for your team. Reaper doesn't want to get too overeager and peek because, well, he's got somebody waiting for him. Both Rudy and Bio, they're wary of this push, and Goons is nowhere near to support this. So Rudy, he'll get a kill, but Barring was felled just before. A couple of flashes will come in, and that's going to force Rudy and Bio to back off just the same. But here comes another toxic gas. Semi actually skirts on by. Rudy gets spotted out, so Semi collects the headshot, and it's going to be all up to Bio. No smokes remaining. His position in Attic is known. He'll be forced to swing out, and Goons will clean him up. That's round 8 for ECLECTIQ.
I'm surprised ECLECTIQ won that, actually. In the 3 versus 3 there, positioning was in the favor of West Garfield. But somehow, Barring exposes himself, and MX Reaper is allowed through the trophy door to grab that kill. Rudy playing a little bit more passive than he once was. I mean, we saw him repeatedly pre-fire and peek over towards that direction. I mean, he nearly grabbed the kill on the Lion the first go-around, but he allows MX Raper through. Sure, he gets the trade, but Semi now is allowed to move through. Bio has since backed off the shield, and that's the opportunity that the Hibana was looking for. Through the gas, it looked like the smoke just simply didn't see her. So Semi lands the kill onto Rudy all the way in the back of the bunks, and Goons is allowed up the white staircase. Although he wasn't able to help his team with that initial push, he's still there to cover the plant in time, and that's the most important thing. Bio walks out and gets caught. Well played by ECLECTIQ. They hold on to that 2-round advantage, and West Garfield will try this site once again.
Yeah, they're going to head to dorms and go for the repeat here. Now, the one thing they're probably not going to be able to repeat is the early aggression and maybe the early picks, but they should be able to tidy up the site hold. Like you said, Rudy was unable to provide the coverage. He chose to play a little bit too passively, and maybe that wasn't communicated to the player sitting in games because maybe some issues with the comms there. That player ended up falling, and Rudy was not there to provide the trade. I mean, eventually that trade was found, but that life shouldn't have even been forfeit at first, right? I mean, just to begin with, that player in games should have been fine because Rudy should have been holding that cross, but maybe Rudy got a bit too passive. Maybe it was just an issue of timing. Regardless, ECLECTIQ did a good job of getting around that hold. Goons, I thought he was going to get himself into a bit of trouble by rotating around and taking so much time in doing so, but the rest of the team, they held their own on the site just fine, even in Goons' absence. So it's 5-3. ECLECTIQ continue to hold their 2-round lead here. So West Garfield, they're going to have to make somewhat of a change. Goons trying to get this Rotero drone through the window, but it's a little too high, and he can't quite drop it down. During that exchange, Z will get felled by Forrest, and that's going to be a wasted Rotero drone for Goons. I think he's going to try again from the roof.
I was, dude, because I saw earlier, I saw the Rotero drone in the air going through that window. I was like, how the hell did he just throw that? You can't throw a Rotero drone. It was from the roof, and then he gets it stuck on the window. That was comically unfortunate there for the Flores. They also lose the opening pick onto Z, thanks to Forrest playing under a prepped white window. So, ECLECTIQ lose the opening pick. You've also got Psychosis hitting the flank. And as far as I can see, as of right now, I don't believe there's anything watching it. C4 goes out from Forrest, but it's a little bit premature. It does not land on anyone. As Psychosis will begin to make his move. Checking outside, there's no one there covering him. Never mind, Semi just freaking drops. What? Okay. Semi just drops and catches Psychosis off guard. Duke as well, peeking into the site, will land the headshot on Rudy, so now the man advantage switches. It's now in the favor of ECLECTIQ. The breach is open as well, and Barring's going to push out, but Semi just pre-fires him into the ground. Apparently this Hibana has all the intel in the world. And now Bio and Forrest, the SAS operators, SMG-11s and shotguns in hand, have to clutch a 2 versus 4.
Not sure why West Garfield were so insistent on just kind of getting themselves caught out and playing aggressively. Clearly, ECLECTIQ have the intel. Stop feeding into it, because now you're in a 2v4. Now you've got a lot of work left to do. Forrest, his position is unknown, but he'll lose that fight anyway, and Reaper will get both of them. ECLECTIQ take round 9 in a beautiful fashion. Really good intel game. Destroyed the flanks, destroyed the aggression, and honestly just destroyed every last defender. 4 players still alive. A dominant round, to say the least. That moves them up to match point.
Big ups to Semi for catching 2 of those. I mean, first of all, diving off the master balcony to kill a dude in lobby. Psychosis looked like he was already watching it, Semi still got that kill. Then you have Rudy, I guess, just overexposing himself, barring really needing to make a play to bring something back. But Semi had the info and just pre-fires that Jaeger down. And from there, well, MX Reaper just sprints into Attic. Forrest isn't ready, and he lands both. That was a pretty straightforward round for ECLECTIQ. I think you highlighted perfectly. It was West Garfield getting aggressive and ECLECTIQ just having the info necessary to stop it, with the exception, of course, of that first kill on the Z. But they won the round. That doesn't really matter. 6-3, quite the lead here for ECLECTIQ. Much more one-sided than Cafe. Remember, Cafe was all the way to round 15. That was 8-7 for West Garfield, but ECLECTIQ here have a 3-round lead. That is tremendous for them on Oregon. Now, of course, next will be Clubhouse. Another very linear map, but another map that both teams should know how to play adequately enough. Now, West Garfield did win this site the last go around, thanks to some brilliant anchor play. Forrest is once again on the FO12, and Biologic has these mirror windows at his disposal. Last time, ECLECTIQ were very slow in their clear and their transition to site, but without really too much West Garfield roam, things should move a little bit quicker.
West Garfield, I mean, regardless of this round, they need 3 in a row. 3 flawless rounds. They've got to complete a rotation here. And they've only been able to win basement 1 time. There's no other site that they've found that really is successful. That's a new bug. But with that shield destroyed, they'll have an easier time clearing out the rest of Elbow here. There goes the second one. That'll take care of the Banshee. These Rotero drones always proving very effective at clearing out this utility from below. And so West Garfield will already be feeling this pressure. From above now, you've got Z dropping down from towers, so barring on the tower stairs, we'll have to be careful on this position. And Forrest down below may not be safe as open as he once was. ECLECTIQ are doing a great job of building up such early pressure. Only 60 seconds have transpired. You've got blue control pretty much in your hands, and now tower control is almost seized.
Fortunately for Duke, one of his impacts is going to get caught by a, my disc, but the second will not. Barring is looking to get aggressive, but he'll peel off after not finding that initial fight. You got Z on the Iana clone scoping out meeting, waiting for Semi to open up E-Box, which, again, the attackers do maybe later than we would have hoped, but at least this time it's coming within the first half of the round rather than in the last 45 seconds. So ECLECTIQ can get a move on a little bit earlier. Goons, like you said, establishing himself outside of bunker, looking to move in with those Rotero drones, do away with any utility that the defenders had posted up. Semi will now join him, so they'll be able to duo push down there. MX Reaper looking like he wants to drop will start sending those flashes down. Forrest could very easily catch these players, though, with the FO12, but there's no movement from the attack just yet. Perhaps a fake? No, they're just waiting out for the Hibana to go and expose barrels a little bit as Barin gets the opening pick onto Duke. Nade gets sent in, but Forrest backs off, now attempting to re-engage with the FO12. Barin has since pushed all the way up tower stairs, challenging by stage as Psychosis gets a kill onto Goons. Now a 3 versus 5. West Garfield looking like they're going to take their second attempt of this site just like they did before. With 40 seconds to go, ECLECTIQ are scrambling now. Semi looking to retake Goons' position. MX Reaper holding in tower, waiting for someone from the attack to call some sort of push. Z will yet again make a mad grab for info, but he's only met with an FO12, and that's not really going to do him much good when Forrest is eagerly watching that drop down. 20 seconds remaining now. Lion scan goes out. MX Reaper dies as swiftly as he pushes in. Z will die next, and it's just Semi, and he can't even get one. West Garfield take the defense flawlessly.
Wow. I mean, they had to do a flawless rotation, but it doesn't have to be flawless rounds when you do it. I mean, you don't have to win like that. But hey, they did. And I gotta give a shout out there to Forrest in particular, who, even though with the FO12, he didn't actually kill anybody dropping down E-Box, his presence there really got ECLECTIQ into a tizzy. I mean, we saw it right in the mid-round, about that 40-second mark, as you highlighted, Harrison. They were trying to get that E-Box wall open. They threw a bunch of flashes in. They wanted those X-Kairos pellets to get on that wall to open up the angle onto Harry Potter. They couldn't do that because Forrest was there. They also droned him out with a Yana clone to see, okay, what are we dealing with that's preventing us from dropping E-Box? Oh my God, wait, there's an FO12 shotgun waiting for us around the corner. That pretty much told everyone on ECLECTIQ that dropping down E-Box is death. Because they were so focused on E-Box, Psychosis was able to tear them apart. Barring was able to reposition on the tower stairs, a dangerous position, mind you, basically trapping himself between T2 and the cutoff from Bunker as that push-in comes through, but got himself into a power position and freed up the remainder of that round, allowing themselves to get a lot of kills, and Forrest really proving to be the crux of that one. He's got 10 kills so far, putting on a much better performance than we saw from him starting the night, clearly starting to heat up. In fact, the top frag for West Garfield right now.
ECLECTIQ, though, still have 2 rounds, so I'm sure they're not too worried about that. Again, that's the only site that they've lost attacking. Now they're probably very happy to go back up to dorms. Why are West Garfield defending dorms for a 3rd time? I couldn't tell you, but I guess they really don't want to go to one of the middle floor sites. Forrest is opening up a hole in Master for whatever reason. No one's actually playing it. I mean, I guess you get some sort of an angle from below through the hatch, but I don't really know. That's a bit of a puzzler for me. Barring, though, is downstairs in Z, looking to challenge Classroom. Goons is once again trying to trick shot his drones through the window, and, well, once again, he's unsuccessful. He'll try and send it through Freezer, but they will spot Barring below, so I guess the Terra drone at least does some work. As ECLECTIQ look to continue to clear through, hopefully West Garfield don't get over-aggressive this time.
For now, they're going to remain relatively passive, despite being in aggressive positions. At least Rudy is directly below this hatch, trying to swing on this. Psychosis, in the meanwhile, will pick up another kill, just kind of tearing apart this attack from unknown places. Psychosis, the madman. And here comes Rudy. Impact to follow. It'll land just in time, finishing off Reaper as Duke gets the trade. Good heads-up play from the Zofia, but she will also take an impact to the face, limiting her HP for the remainder of this round. It'll be a 3v4, so ECLECTIQ still with a fighting chance, only 1 man down. And now the flashes are going to come in. Forrest forced to back away. Semi really wants to get a push going in through games. I mean, they've got ample time remaining. They don't have to get too antsy here. And they do still have 6 drones in play, only 3 of which can actively be controlled. So they do have the ability to take their time and figure out what they're dealing with. Duke just spotted out one of those yokai drones, so Bio will now have to see if he has another one to use. Unclear if he's got more intel to work with there, but now that we're under a minute, ECLECTIQ know that they've got to start figuring out a plan of attack.
They'll even use X-Kairos to get a better angle on that yokai drone, if it's still there. Imagine Semi will probably shoot it in short order, and they'll open a small hole into Attic, cutting Forrest off, making sure that at least if he runs to the doorway, ECLECTIQ will know, and it won't be a surprise. They also know Psychosis is all the way in the back by Metal. Semi looking to make his way in. He'll follow Z the Iana. Z taking a little bit of damage, and he'll die to Barring. Duke also now very lit up. It's just Semi in a 1 versus 4. West Garfield turning their success on this side around. Semi gets 1, but he's being lit up by all sides, and Forrest will finally finish him from that hole he made in Attic, now working against the attack, and we are once again 1 round away from overtime.
Yeah, establishing a small hole like that is good, but it's not great, right? It limits Forrest's mobility in Attic when you're trying to go for that push. It makes him potentially worry about somebody covering it, but if you're in a man disadvantage, you don't necessarily have the power to have the manpower to allocate a gun to that angle. There's so many angles when you're going for that games plant that 2 people should probably be covering the planter at any given moment. 1 from the breach and 1 from the trophy door. Once you establish that small hole, you no longer can stand on the trophy doorway because that hole would shoot that player. It's a good position generally, and if you had a thermite charge or maybe an ace Selma charge, establishing a bigger hole would have forced Forrest to actually move into kids instead of positioning an Attic. But a hole of that size actually ended up getting, kind of turning it around actually, and punishing them rather than helping them out. Either way, ECLECTIQ still have 1 more round and 1 more chance to win this one in regulation. A site that West Garfield have avoided consistently is finally going to come out here. We're going to see how they defend a meeting in kitchen.
Finally, West Garfield on a middle floor site. I too am itching to see how they do. Of course, they will have people on the top floor because this is a meeting defense, and you'd be crazy not to play the top floor. You'd be clinically insane. ECLECTIQ are now off the Hibana, curiously enough, and now running both the Maverick and the Thermite. MX Reaper has flexed off Lion now onto Flores. So a little bit of shuffling when it comes to the operator selection. Forrest is looking to get aggressive, and no one is watching this. The window is very clearly open. What is with ECLECTIQ and just not checking windows? MX Reaper is now dead. Your Flores dies with all 4 drones in his pocket. Forrest has spawn peaked like almost every single defensive round, and you're still not checking your windows.
That's a bummer. Bummer for Reaper. It's not Goons this time on the Flores, though, so you still got Goons in play. Also a madman this game. He's on the Maverick instead, working his way over from the tower side of things. Doesn't necessarily have to open it up fully, as I do believe he is not going to actually open up the attic breach. Instead, just establish a couple of angles that they need to hold it and prevent somebody from taking that hatch. Actually, that hatch has been reinforced, oddly enough. So West Garfield cannot use it to their advantage. A bit peculiar into the way this site is normally held. So they're going to have to deny the plant from elsewhere, most likely split or the rotation there from kitchen. You can see Bio playing on it, actually opening up a little bit further. But West Garfield have put themselves in a dangerous spot. I mean, without really ECLECTIQ having to do much about it. Yes, West Garfield have a man advantage, but what can they do to stop this plant from actually going down?
Well, it doesn't look like ECLECTIQ are holding attic at all. Which doesn't make sense, as I believe the hatch is closed. Gas grenade goes out. It won't do any damage to Semi, though. And if ECLECTIQ have enough info, they should know the site. Well, the site was free, but Forrest has since moved up to the doorway. What? All right. I don't know how that just happened, but it did. Semi lands a nice kill. Duke, very nice headshot across the site. Psychosis gets the refrag, though. And the defense has now established themselves over in the site to stop this breach play. Goons just spamming through the smoke at Psychosis, but Barring here moving in through attic. He's not held anymore. Bio peeking out, grabs Semi, and there's the flank from Barring, bringing us to overtime. What could have easily been an ECLECTIQ victory is halted by hesitation. If only they had just pushed the site, they would have probably gotten that plant down.
I'd love to chat with someone on West Garfield and them to explain the meeting reinforced strat to me again, because that one is interesting, and it felt like, just like you said, Harrison, that had ECLECTIQ gone for an earlier push, they could have gotten the plant down pretty easily. I mean, normally the hardest part about that defense, or that attack rather, is how do you cover the 3 angles at once? How do you cover the attic hatch, the split doors, there's 2 of them, and then the kitchen push, and hell, even a green hall push. All of those things are ways the attackers can use, the defenders can use to deny the plant. Even the E-box hatch from basement, you can throw a C4 up from there. They had the basement covered as an attacking team. They had the attic covered. They didn't really have to worry about it too much, except for the flank, because the hatch was reinforced. All they had to worry about was split, kitchen rotate, and the green hall. And despite having 4 players up and enough manpower to do that, seemed like they waited a little too long to really make that push. That got them a bit too vulnerable to those smokes from Bio. It got them a bit too vulnerable to just Psychosis and his gun skill and the flank from Barring that eventually won out the round. Just like that, West Garfield have just sprinted their way to overtime, overcoming a 3-round on match point, by the way. ECLECTIQ were there, deficit. Impressive stuff from them, and now they're on defense to continue their momentum.
ECLECTIQ. Map could have been over, but nope. Z's having a really slow game. I wonder if that's hurting them at all. And oh my god. Jonah, I'm gonna scream.
You have my permission to scream.
They have done that! Every round! It takes an extra, like, 3 to 5 seconds to just check the barricade. Check your windows. Check your doors. I feel like I'm about to do the whole the whole definition of insanity monologue from Far Cry 3. Like, it's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. West Garfield have spawn peaked almost every single defensive round in the series. What? All right, I'm done.
That's all right. That's all right. Because ECLECTIQ, I mean, they have, despite the shenanigans, they've been known to bounce back. We've seen them bounce back from this. All they've got to do is find one kill. And West Garfield, I mean, they've been willing to swing and get aggressive, maybe over-aggressive. And if ECLECTIQ can punish that, this could be evened out very quickly. Like, look at Barring right now. He's like running his way all over towards bunker. He wants to challenge somebody out there. Nobody from ECLECTIQ happens to be there right now, but he's eager to find those kills, right? He knows somebody's coming from the tower stairs as well, and he's eager to swing on that position. All it takes is a couple of ECLECTIQ players here to bunch up and try to get that kill together. Now, the nade from Z should force Forrest back, but it's not going to force Barring anywhere. He'll actually run up the tower stairs to take care of Duke. Bold move from him, but it'll pay off, and nobody else is there from ECLECTIQ to find the trade. We now have less than a minute remaining, and these E-Box players are still stuck. They cannot drop. Every nade they throw down is getting burned by an Aruni Gate or a Jaeger ADS, and now they are scrambling. It's a 3v5, and ECLECTIQ are running out of options. Reaper now throwing down one of his final Rotero drones. He's only got one more in pocket here. Maybe spotting out Psychosis. He could land a headshot here, but you gotta remember, Barring loves to run up the stairs. He'll get flashed, and he'll be forced to back off, so Reaper will go for the swing, and he'll successfully down the Jaeger. Now Z will join his teammate on this push, but this time from the bunker side, only to get fried by Forrest, who lines up two with the FO12. Reaper last alive. Psychosis finishes him off, and that is another flawless basement defense for West Garfield.
I can't believe what I'm watching right now. I mean, ECLECTIQ are just getting run over. First, it was the spawn peak. Then it was the kill, I believe, onto Duke. Then it was getting stuck on E-Box for, you guessed it, the nth time in a row that they've attacked that site. They always get stuck on E-Box and Pillar. Maybe push somewhere else. Maybe take a Ying. Maybe learn how to take Pillar. There's an idea. I am so frustrated with ECLECTIQ right now. At least they're on their defense. They get to go to Dorms. Dorms has worked out decently well for them so far. This is probably their best chance to go on the 7-7 match point. I even saw, because I have Discord on my second monitor, because I'm on Serena's setup. I have two monitors now. It's awesome. I saw while I was yelling at ECLECTIQ, Connor's sitting in the call with us. I think he can hear us casting through Ferme's like virtual camera, and he turned on his webcam and looked at the cam and was just nodding his head. So NAL analyst Connor CDF Stapolonio agrees with me. That's how you know I'm right. And well, ECLECTIQ have one chance on their defense to bring us to max OT. Are we gonna have two double max OT games in a row? Well, it falls on ECLECTIQ to not troll this. West Garfield, they've been looking pretty good this match so far. They've got the momentum firmly on their side. They've won, what, 4 rounds in a row at this point, I believe.
Yep, you're right.
So, hopefully ECLECTIQ's mental ain't chalked.
2 of those 4 rounds have been flawless rounds, by the way. Both of the basement defenses, I believe, were crispy clean. So yeah, tough one for ECLECTIQ to make happen here. They are going to the defensive side, though. A side that they preferred in terms of overall round wins. They got the 4 they needed. So maybe this is where they can finally stop the bleeding and get the momentum back on their side, or at least remember what it was like to win a round, because it has, like you said, been some time. So as far as this roam goes, you've got ECLECTIQ once again just trying to provide as much early contests towards West Garfield as they can, right? You've got Reaper positioned down in meeting, which, as you know, is not the site. We're up here on Dorms, so maybe Reaper is hoping to catch somebody off guard and go for a bit of a flank later in the round. Bio will pick up the first kill, this one onto Goons, and that is a blow that ECLECTIQ and ECLECTIQ fans everywhere are going to feel quite deeply. That's Goons, who has been running all over this West Garfield attack, and he will be stopped from making an impact any longer in this round.
I'm gonna start Joker laughing. Like, Okay, C4 goes up. Rudy's on the bed, so it does not hit him. ECLECTIQ cannot find an answer just yet. Nade goes out. Easy clear of the Goyo shield, so you no longer have coverage outside the kid's doorway. Psychosis looking to nab an early kill. Attic has been opened as well. Semi only has a shield to protect him, but the Hibana charges are going out on the wall behind him to make way for Burn so they can destroy the shield with a nade, likely coming from, well, not Psychosis. Actually, no, they don't have any more nades. Okay, so that shield is safe, at least for now. They can't actually get rid of it. Not quite sure why they would open that hole then, but I digress. Z is going to get aggressive. Psychosis will catch him because that's what Psychosis does best. Now it's a 5 versus 3. Duke looking to try and take something back. He is now doubled up on this angle with MX Reaper. They really want to win whatever fight peaks that. We're now sub 1 minute. West Garfield are in prime position to start constricting this side as the breach gets open.
And the only thing they don't have working for them is the frag grenades. They're out of nades, so they can't kill Semi here, but they're aware of his position. They probably know somebody is sitting in the back of dorms. Yes, they do, because Duke will take a bullet or two here. Now, Forrest, he's not really helping his team right now, but he's waiting for the opportune moment to strike here from the back, and when he does, you know it's going to be disaster for this player sitting in Attic, Semi, who does not know what's coming from behind. There goes Forrest. He'll get the kill. It's all up to Duke on 1 HP, trying to keep ECLECTIQ's hopes alive here, but he's been spotted out, and Barring will hold left click, spraying with the LMG, and just like that, West Garfield take 5 rounds in a row, complete the 6-3 comeback, defying match point, taking match point for themselves. They will be participating in SCS6 Split 2. I believe our first team, possibly our second team, to earn that moniker. So congratulations to them.
Second.
They will be joining some stacked teams, and they are a stacked team of their own. And they proved it. They proved it tonight that they can hang and they can adapt and they can play very, very well.
I am so frustrated with ECLECTIQ right now. I mean, they deserve to lose that. Dude, look at your windows, please. Learn how to play aggression, please. Goons, looked like he spawn peaked on 7-6 match point and died. But either way, like you said, congratulations, West Garfield. They looked like they had a handle on things in their latter half of the attack. I mean, they won, they were down 6-3, and they won 5 rounds in a row. That is absolutely stellar from West Garfield. This experience showing that you can never count them out. And they will join, actually, the only other qualified team so far is the Aerial Arise Pug Stack, consisting of Wimpy, Valor, Kento, CZ, and then I believe Og and Rethinkin, who both played in these quals. So we got our 2 teams confirmed so far, both of them being Pug Stacks, funny enough. But like you said, they join quite the talented lineup so far. So we only have room for 2 more teams. Chess Club versus Shadow Realm is going on right now, as is Achieve Esports versus Goosick. But regarding this game, I know we talked about Wichita Wolves Academy being the hopeful from the group, but they looked pretty terrible. Then we have ECLECTIQ, our stage 1 qualified team. They made it in through the first qualifier out of nowhere, but fortunately they can't get past West Garfield because they also didn't look great.
Does seem like they are the caliber of team, though, that could make it through our second qualifier, right? There's going to be a lot of people in there who really wanted to make it through this first one, but you've weeded out the top 4 theoretically, and they came this close, 2 games in overtime to what I thought was going to be one of the strongest opponents out there, West Garfield. They proved it in our standalone tournament. They've got a stacked lineup. It is a pug stack, yes, but it is a pug stack of all incredibly talented players with NAL, with CL experience, all of whom, you know, are gunners in their own right. Clearly, they've proved that here tonight. I think ECLECTIQ, they're a name to keep an eye on going forward because they kind of came out of nowhere last split, defied expectations a little bit, and as bad as they closed here tonight, letting them just kind of almost a little bit of a reverse sweep, so to speak, they still looked good for the most part. So a little bit of a saving grace for them, but again, it is West Garfield. That is the team of the hour. They are the ones moving through. We'll hopefully get a clearer picture on who will be joining Aerial Arise Pug Stack and this West Garfield Pug Stack when we get some clarity on those final 2 outcomes. We might be able to catch one of those games. Before we do that, we are going to take a quick break to assess. But before we go to a quick break, just another shout out. And finally, a shout out to our wonderful sponsor, Mike and Ike's. As you know, we've talked about them all night long. Mike and Ike, mega me up. You can get yourself a pack of Mike and Ike Mega Mix, a pack of Mike and Ike Original Fruits, or a pack of Mike and Ike Mega Mix Sour. Those are my favorites personally. Big fan of the sour candies. You can take your candy game to the next level with a pack of either of these. They're delicious, fruity, chewy flavors. They can help fuel your game and power you up to keep playing at your best. You can power up, you can mega me up with Mike and Ike. So, I mean, I highly recommend. Very delicious candy. And while you take a look at that, we'll actually pop up the bracket really quick to take a look at this as well.
Of course, these are all our finished matches so far. ECLECTIQ moving in towards West Garfield, both ECLECTIQ and West Garfield taking 2-0s, and then West Garfield taking the 2-0, both in overtime against ECLECTIQ. So while ECLECTIQ didn't play the best, I think that does, though, go to show that they can go toe-to-toe with NAL-level talent, and we'll likely see them again in our playoffs in Stage 2 quals. Our only other qualified team so far is the Aerial Arise Pug Stack. So they took a 2-0 over Gremlins. I actually don't know who's on that squad. Let me check real quick. That is Native, Bix, Tragical, Area. I've heard of Bix and Tragical, haven't heard of the others. So Aerial Arise taking the 2-0. Noob Slayers, who consist of people like I think Dolly, Stove, the man famous for running Recruit in the entirety of CL quals and almost making it into CL, teaming with a lesser known player known as Pengu. Don't know if you've ever heard of him. They took a 2-0 over Didn't Ask. That, of course, is Delta Force, Swoof, Snoop, and company. And Aerial Arise actually taking the 2-0 to qualify. And, of course, that is not the Challenger League Aerial Arise. That is a Pug Stack Aerial Arise. So, actually, that's pretty funny. Aerial Arise, the Pug Stack, is an SCS, along with Aerial Arise Academy, who were also a Pug Stack. Wichita Wolves also have 2 teams in SCS. So, that's kind of cool. And of course, we are waiting on Chess Club versus Shadow Realm. Chess Club being Gunner and co. I think they've got Doc, Bills, Mr. B, and Snake. They're playing up against Shadow Realm, who have the famous Shiba. As we saw from our last qualifier, Shiba is incredible. He's joined by Millie's, Jolt, Kami, and I think Zoinkers is on that team as well. So I imagine Chess Club will probably win that, but Shadow Realm are probably close. And of course, Achieve Esports and Goosick. Achieve Esports actually qualifying for Stage 1. They had, people like Twizzler, TPA, them, and Team Goosick, who nearly made it in Stage 1.
Yeah, Team Goosick, it was one of the teams like right on the edge, I believe, in Stage 1, but couldn't quite make it through. That's Amp, Teddy, Baxley, Unlimited Needles, Tristan, EJ. Solid team there as well. So we are, again, still waiting on those 2 outcomes, but when we know that, we will have a clear picture, and we'll present that to you on stream, who our 8 teams are going to be. For, I guess, we won't know every single team. But before we do that, we're going to do our sweet play of the day here, presented by Mike and Ike, where we take a look at our play of the day. I'm trying to think back. Did we have an ace today? We didn't, did we? We had a quad kill.
No.
We had a couple of quads.
Yeah, we had a couple quads, but I don't think we got an ace at all. I don't know. Who's it going to be? The Goons 4K.
Goons.
All right, this was pretty incredible. Okay, I got to see this shot. Wow, he almost like clipped him through the edge of the wall, which, fun fact, are wall bangable, so it is entirely possible that he got that kill there. Psychosis just getting dumpstered on bottom white. I don't know if Goons had info. I mean, maybe it was just a sound call. That's possible too, that whoever was playing on white, I think it was Duke, just heard that player and called it out to Goons.
I don't know. It's like Psychosis had a ping, I'm pretty sure. We saw the ping, but he just didn't quite shoot quick enough. I mean, Goons was just too quick on the trigger. I don't exactly know. So Goons got a quad in this round. There was a lot of pressure being applied towards white. This is what ECLECTIQ did just so wonderfully, is that despite the pressure being applied by West Garfield constantly on this the west side of the map here, I mean, Goons just denied it outright with this shield. He was joined by Reaper. I mean, obviously you lose semi here, but then Goon steps up, takes down the player on the window. He knows there's other players coming from below, and he just prevents Barring, like, doesn't even sort of let Barring up the stairs. Like 3 different occasions, I think it was like Barring, Rudy, and Bio all tried to pressure the same staircase, and Goons was just like, no, you're not having it, denied it constantly. The timing here is hilarious, but Barring also, like, that stun, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was an impact, actually. It hit the wall and didn't catch the shield. And that's what potentially could have changed this course of the round. Had the shield pop to that impact there, maybe Barring just had it too far left on the wall, it could have been a very different situation for Goons.
Yeah, and then Bio here actually gets caught with the flashbang. Despite the pre-fire coming down, both of the attackers looking the complete wrong way. And Goons, oh, he was so close! He was so close to the ace. Literally like one more bullet, and we would have had a Goons ace there. But MX Reaper just had to go and steal it. Because of course he did. Of course he did. That's why ECLECTIQ lost. Because Goons didn't get that ace there. But that was an incredible play. Unfortunately, could not win the map for them, though. Ended up going 8-7 in the way of, of West Garfield. Map 2 went 8-6. And Ferme in our ears actually let us know we might have map 3 of Achieve versus GARFIELD coming up.
All right. That should be an exciting one. Is Achieve the identical roster that
it's
we
Coastline.
Ooh.
Yes. No, I don't think they have... let me look on the battle fight. I don't think they have Tracken anymore. They have... So it's TPA, Twizzler, and Morocco. And instead of Tracken and... I think it was Riot, they have Maxily and Exum. I'm pretty sure. That was the last, like, scoreboard screenshot I saw on Twitter. And they're all listed on the active roster for... on Battlefy. So... Okay. That could be interesting. I think the GARFIELD roster is also relatively the same, except instead of what was his name? Nar. That's who it was. Remember the Smoke and Nomad who would always drop double digits? They don't have Nar anymore. I think Nar quit, and now they have who is it? Needles?
Yeah, Needles.
Yeah, Grave just added me. Yeah, Needles is playing.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break before we get this game going. We'll just cue this one up, and when we come back, we've got Achieve, we've got GARFIELD, final map of the night, hopefully, and we'll see who makes it into the SCS6. See you in a moment.